to get on here would be all right. Just
bloop.
saying.
He's counting.
But,
He's counting.
Good Wednesday afternoon, evening to you. If you're on the East Coast, 7 p.m. Eastern here on the East Coast. West Coast time, 4 p.m. Pacific out there. 6 p.m. in my hometown of Nashville, Tennessee. We're live here, Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, on Mixer, on Facebook, and YouTube. You can watch us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/CompeteForever, on Mixer, mixer.com/CompeteForever, also on YouTube, youtube.com/CompeteForever, and on Facebook, facebook.com/gaming/CompeteForever. We'll take your phone calls live here, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID is Esports Extra. That is 377-678-9872. Larry Ridley here from SNY TV, NBC Sports, Madden, NFL, little NBA 2K as well. Got a nice crew as well with me. As always, let's bring in everybody here live here on Esports Extra. Got Ivan Curtis, the NBA 2K League head coach for the Brooklyn Nets gaming crew. And don't sleep on the Nets. Where Brooklyn at? They are 4-2. That's where they're at in the NBA 2K League standings. What's going on, OG? What's up?
I'm feeling good, feeling great, man. We're off to a good start. I mean, I don't want to use what most people say. A lot of people didn't expect us to be where we're at right now, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
We'll take it. All right. And what about two-time down there, the two-time WNBA champ in the A, doing good work, passing out water, and also kissing baby. She's going to be a politician one day.
What?
Her name is Renee Montgomery.
Oh, my goodness. It's so funny. It's so funny because this is the third time I've heard that in 3 days. Why is it that when somebody actually starts doing work in the community, everybody's like, run for mayor? It's so, is that people must not do a lot of work in the community. But I'm good. I'm great.
Out there kissing babies. What's up, little sis? Nay. And then we got Dorlan Worrell, fellow sportscaster, NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. Hey, this is a big show for you, brother. We talking a lot of NASCAR,
Woo!
and you are the man when it comes to making those left turns, Dorlan Worrell. What's up?
I'm waiting for the race to start right now. They're just getting ready to.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey,
take that checker flag.
He can attend if he wants.
Man, he's literally the only brother I know right now watching NASCAR, and I mean
he is a friend of the show.
we got to have him on here. Also, we have live guys. We're going to be talking about the NFL allowing protests. Patrick Mahomes, that video, how much influence did he have in it? Malcolm Jenkins wants Cap to play and play now. Remember, they had some words. I think it was last year or the year before last, where you had the Players Coalition and Cap and all that. Now the whole NFL rallying behind Colin Kaepernick. Adrian Peterson says he will kneel. We'll get to that. Matt Chatham, former three-time Super Bowl, former Patriot. He is a three-time Super Bowl. You're never former when you're a champion. They're right, Renee.
Oh,
it's
that's
never
a fact.
former. That is current.
Fact.
It's present.
A
and
championship
in the future,
is a present title. You're a champion.
Yes, ma'am. And Matt Chatham is a three-time champ. I did some work with him in Nesson. Actually, my last show at Nesson, I think I did with him. And the last report I did for Nesson, we were at Gillette Stadium with the Patriots. So we'll catch up with him in 30 seconds. Also, Representative Joe Kennedy III, running for, I believe, Senate up there in Massachusetts. He says the Pats should sign Cap. That's interesting. We'll talk about that. Belichick, his support for his players. We'll get into that. Also, when you look at the young QB, the quarterback for the New England Patriots, that would be Jarrett Stidham. We'll talk about that. Can he replace Tom Brady? We'll get into that. Also, Major League Baseball, their latest proposal. We'll talk about that. Bubba Wallace making waves in NASCAR and racing. Bubba Wallace Jr. with the Black Lives Matter paint scheme. It's going on right now in Martinsville. We'll talk about that. NASCAR fans in the stands, all of that. And hey, there will be, a Cloud 9, right? She's on Cloud 9 in the WNBA. Talking about your fellow colleague, Natasha.
Yes.
Cloud. We'll talk about that. That is a story we're going to get into.
I didn't even know where you were going with that. I thought you meant I was on Cloud 9. I'm like, I am. Thank you.
Natasha Cloud is really on Cloud 9. You should know. We'll talk about that story.
I know.
Teams right there. NBA 2K League virtual setting will continue with the 2K League. Of course, we'll talk about the C4 Madden League wrapping up, going into the playoffs. And, of course, Compete Forever. You can watch all of our Madden and 2K events live on the Black News Channel. 877-853-5247, meeting ID, Esports Extra. That's 377-678-9872. Hit that pound button twice to join the show. Let's go to the phone lines now and bring in a good friend of mine up there. He is a masshole, played with the Patriots, also played down here in the New York City area with the New York Jets to end his career. He is Matt Chatham. Matt, good Wednesday to you, brother. How you doing?
What's up? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to hear from you, man. Let me tell you something for folks that don't know. Follow Matt Chatham on Twitter if you want to see really nice cuisines and how to really barbecue and the presentation with your food. This
Me
guy's a
go
good follow when
follow.
it comes to that, right, Matt?
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All this extra time on my hands. We've been smoking a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You talk about food, right?
Wait a minute.
Leave that open-ended. I'm going to leave that open-ended.
I like this guy.
Hey, this is a family-friendly show on Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube and Facebook. Not THC, meats. All of that good stuff that he's smoking right now.
That's
So
hilarious.
Matt, let's catch up with you. Hey, we talked about it the last week or so. The NFL had the player videos that came out last Thursday. And, of course, we had Roger Goodell talking about the NFL was wrong. And now they do support the other players in the NFL. Just want to get your general thoughts on the NFL and their support for players, the Players Coalition, Black Lives Matter, and, just supporting the players with this movement for social justice and racial justice reform in this country.
I'm a relative cynic when it comes to things that come out of the NFL's office. So I will give them credit in this particular instance. I think they were like 90% of where they needed to be with the statement. And I think in part, and this is sort of where the cynicism lives, I guess, it's driven by dollars. I think ultimately they've decided that they're not hurt by supporting these guys with a very real cause. And I think the vast majority of their audience will continue to support them if they stand up for this cause. I think there's an ROI thing here going on. And I think that a lot of this is internal polling. I think a lot of it's talking to the players themselves and understanding, oh, wow, they're an integral part of what we do, and the country's moving their way. And it sucks that feels sort of caustic. That feels a little bit too calculated. But why I say 90%, not the full 10, is I really didn't like that line about we wouldn't have an NFL if it weren't for African-American players. That's absolutely true. But I would like to think as a player that, say, African-Americans were a 10% group or a 15% group or a 20% group. Would it not still be the cause to get behind? I mean, that was to me is like, you know what? We wouldn't have a league if without African Americans. So for that reason, we really need to back this. Now, I mean, if this had happened to be, Samoans or Latin Americans, but I know we have a very small percentage of those in our league, but the notion that it's just by virtue of majority, we really need to get behind this, that rang a little bit like, wait a minute, but it's still the NFL. So I kind of get where there's usually a calculation behind a lot of the stuff they do. But in saying all that, they did the right thing. And I think there's just too many good people here, at least in our players, that just are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to not make this complicated. This is just a very blatant social injustice. It's affecting too many people. It's persisted for far too long. Too many people are aware of it. And if you're one of the people on the other side that's griping about people continually talking about it, well, then maybe if you'd have stood up and done a little something a few years ago when it was first brought up, it wouldn't persist. And I think that's kind of where a lot of people are. You want this to be done. You want it to be out of the mainstream sort of media cycle day in, day out. Well, then let's do something. Let's actually change this. So 3 years from now, we're not still having to march about the same stuff.
And I think they are having a little regret from not taking care of this 4 years ago in 2016. Talking here to Matt Chatham, three-time Super Bowl champ of the Patriots, here live on esportsXTRA. Your phone call is 877-853-5247. Meeting ID is esportsXTRA 377-678-9872. Hit the pound button twice to join. Matt, just your time as a player, just talk about the locker room and the camaraderie that you guys, because football, we talk about, it's the ultimate team sport. I played Division I football, never played in the NFL, but at a high enough level to understand that you really do need to sort of, depend on each other. Look, there's racism everywhere, in every corner, every part of this society. But what was it like specifically in an NFL locker room and just the camaraderie that you and your band of brothers had? I know it was pretty good for you guys because you were winning titles, but just generally in your career, coming even from South Dakota all the way to playing outside of Boston for the world champion New England Patriots.
Yeah, I think with the Pats, I mean, that's something that, I experienced both sides of it. The 6 years in New England, but the 3 I was down in New York as well. It was kind of, you get to see good locker rooms and bad locker rooms. And I think when, and we had some where change still needed to happen. I'm not talking social change. I'm just talking general, who's on board and things like that relative to some sort of team goal. We came in and we're a 5-11 team initially in Bill Belichick's first year. And I think that was that was turnover, which is very important in a locker room. We try to get the same kind of people who have the same kind of goals in mind. You look at sort of the lineage of just really incredibly quality leader types that have come through that locker room over the course of 20 years. From our days with the Bradys and Brewskis and Vrabels and McGinnis and Seymours and Ty Laws, and just really, really high character guys that were incredible workers. But then the way they've sort of been able to, over multiple generations, continue to find those kind of people. And it's just waves of people now today. You have your Dante Hightower and Devin McCourty and Matthew Slater and James White. It's the next wave of guys who, when the coaches leave the room, the system doesn't change. And, the ethos behind everything they're doing isn't just dependent upon the coach being, standing there breathing down your neck. I think that's super important because ultimately the players do end up kind of running things. The coaches are the coaches, but it's 53 pros. This is their little business. And you got to have people that really, really care about it and believe about it really the same way the coach does when he's not there.
Yeah, good stuff there. And of course, Belichick, 6 Super Bowl titles, 9 Super Bowl appearances while in Foxborough. Wanted to get your thoughts on, you're in Massachusetts still, Representative Joe Kennedy III, of course, descendant of the great Kennedy family up there in Massachusetts. He said the Pats should sign Cap. I don't know how serious he is about this, but what's the talk in the field up in New England? I can tell you now, covering the New England Patriots for 6 years, that ain't happening. So what's going on with Representative Kennedy talking about the Patriots that should sign Colin Kaepernick?
Well, I think the sentiment that, even for those people that were sort of anti-kneeling and all that stuff and trying to change the narrative of what was really all about, even if you're talking about that group of people, I think there's some, apathy or just sort of tiredness of having to continue to have that silly conversation. It's like, dude, at the end of the day, this is just a man who lost his job, who was trying to do the right thing, wasn't bothering anyone else. And 3 years later, his profession, just sort of came to a halt. He's 3 years out of the league. But what I would say that sucks, and I think it sucks, obviously, that it happened to him, and that's not the kind of wrong you can right with, signing some minimum contract deal 4 years later. I mean, it's not as if that will somehow recompense everything that had gone on. But the thing that sucks for Cap, at least from his perspective, is, now that the tide seems to be turning, you're having this happen in June. And it's silly, and it's obviously there's much more important things going on outside the walls of NFL buildings. But say in the event that this sort of social wave thing was happening in like January, February, maybe March, something like that, you give Kaepernick, who's a quarterback, but it's that particular position that has had this happen to him. Had he been able to be in a locker room, so this would also be independent of COVID. So you have two different things going on here. But you'd have a guy that could walk into a locker room, who's been away from the game for 3 years, and be with his teammates, on field workouts all through April, May, June, July, learn an offense, a new one if he needs to, sort of reintegrate himself into the NFL culture, learn something, get back up to speed, hit the ground running. Maybe he's a backup now, and that's probably reasonable considering he's been gone so long. But he has all these things working against him. It's the 3 years that are in his back pocket that you can do nothing about now. But the notion of just jumping in on July 28th with everyone else, trying to win a roster spot, I mean, it's just the timing of it's terrible. If this had been April, and I'd make this point independent of the Patriots. I think any place that is going to have the concern that he's been out for that long and that he plays the particular position where it's not just can you make a roster, it's like you have to lead all these people and you're going to have to learn it in like 2 weeks. It just sucks. It's unfair. Let's put it that way. But at least in the Patriots' perspective, so I'll throw that out here real quickly. I think what answers where their interest would be with Cap is more answered, not relative to sort of his cause and things like that, and any concerns about how the fan base will react. I mean, we're in a pretty liberal area up here, so there are the smaller contingent, but I don't think that would be a concern for Mr. Kraft. I think this is more from a football perspective. They passed on Andy Dalton. They passed on Cam Newton. They passed on Teddy Bridgewater. They passed on doing a Nick Foles deal. They passed on really all your veteran quarterback free agent possibilities. They've all come and gone. So Cap would be in the same neighborhood as those guys, but without 3 years of playing football. So their passing on those others would tell me that they would also pass on him, even though sort of feeling, I guess, out there has changed in the last several weeks and months. It stinks. He's going to need to find a situation where I think there will be a clearer path to the field, and New England wouldn't be that. Brian Hoyer's here. He's been in the system for years and years and years. They're going to show up in camp July 28th. They're playing real football in a couple weeks. It's just this would be a very disadvantageous situation for Cap. If I were him, I would be looking for a spot where I'm relatively familiar with what it is, and there's a little more path to the front line. They're pretty set at 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah, and one of those paths, or a couple of those paths, would be maybe a Baltimore, a Chargers, or a Raiders, or some of the teams, or maybe even a Jacksonville. Some of the same places that Cam Newton probably could do some good. Real quickly, I want to get your thoughts on Belichick. You know, we know the New England area very well. You know it even more so than I do. You know, people look at Belichick and Kraft, and they see allies of Donald Trump, the president here of the United States. But quietly, Belichick, I've been seeing and reading, he's been doing some work to support his players behind the scenes. Whether you saw Stephon Gilmore in that NFL players, the star athlete video that came out last Thursday and Friday, also to what he did the other night when supporting Devin McCourty in an award ceremony that he was a part of, and how he spoke about, look, I want to support you guys, and all of the players talk about it. Matthew Slater, James White, talk about the support that he's giving them to empower them to go out there and make a change, because he knows this is important to them as human beings. Just speak on that real quickly for me, Matt.
I would just say I'm not going to purport to sort of be able to represent Mr. Kraft and Bill's views today as we stand here, but I would just note that they're very bright men, and they're men of conviction and men of integrity, and whatever they may have thought in 2016 does not mean they think that today. And I think a lot of what we're doing right now is changing, and people are thinking, and people are listening, and people are hearing people out. And when you see and hear how influenced he's been by that particular part of his locker room that's speaking the loudest, that knows what they're talking about, Matthew and Dev and those guys, he's listening, and that tells me that, you know, whatever perception people have of him is probably wrong. He's not an unchanging man, neither are. And I just wouldn't make assumptions about what they're thinking, because a lot has happened in the last 3 years, and I think embracing these guys is a pretty telling deal.
Yeah, good stuff. And last question before I get you out of here, and I know Renee's got to follow up here in a second. Want to get your thoughts. The big topic, of course, with the New England Patriots coming into the season. No Tom Brady for the first time in 20-plus years. Jarrett Stidham, the second-year quarterback out of Auburn University, looks like he will be the guy unless Brian Hoyer or maybe somebody else unseats him. Your thoughts on Jarrett Stidham? What sort of quarterback are we seeing? There's some rumblings now that people think he's sneaky good, might even be the best quarterback in the AFC East. What say you, three-time Super Bowl champ Matt Chatham?
I'll just say I think it's incredibly telling how many different exits off the interstate they've had an opportunity to make and haven't in lieu of this guy. I think that's incredibly telling. They're bringing in Brian Hoyer, who knows the system inside and out, to back him up in the event of break glass, or in the event Jared's not willing to go on week one. But absent that, we ran through the names earlier. There are a lot of veteran options that they passed on, which means that the internal feeling on this guy must be awful strong. And even as a media member and former player there, I mean, I'm here covering the team regularly. I just haven't seen that much of him. So I think most of that judgment is based upon what they've seen in practice and the reps that we don't get to see. But I think it's you could not get a stronger signal from that organization without them blatantly just coming out and say it. They feel really, really strongly about this guy. He had a weird senior year, or final year, at Auburn, where he was the year prior. I think the sentiment was much different with him, and he may have been a much higher rated prospect had that last year not happened, had he come out, when he did, or come out with this year's crew of quarterbacks. So he's a first, second round type talent, and he fell a little bit, and they may have just had one fall in their lap. I guess we'll see.
Well, there's a lot of talk that, he's better than Darnold, will be better than Tua. What do you think, just by looking at him? And you were there. Look, I know how it is at practice in New England. It's worse than any other team in the NFL. You only get to see 10 minutes. But you're a former player. You got contacts inside of there. What do you think internally about his talents?
Throws the ball well. Looks composed. He's surprisingly agile. I mean, we're not talking about. It reminds me a little bit of Tannehill. Tannehill was a guy who I don't think you think of him as a runner necessarily, but if you watch his out the front of the pocket or around the back, at least to his throw side, he can scoot a little bit, and I think he sometimes surprises people with his mobility. So Stidham has a little bit of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I would think the negative that we've seen thus far, that he's young, but he threw a lot of interceptable balls. Let's put it that way. So he had the one, I believe, was a Carolina Panther. It was actually the one that Cam got hurt in, I believe, and he threw 3 balls in and out of defensive back's hands. So you look at your box score. Wow, the quarterback rating's good. They dropped them, right? But it was probably okay. Some of those balls you may have been able to get away with college, you might not be able to get away with in the pro. So I would say that was probably the only. Wow, he looks the part, which as far as composure, and you're not talking mental mistakes and dropping snaps and all the goofy stuff. He looks, as best as you possibly can be at this super duper early juncture. So if you'd have told me he was a first round pick, I mean, there's nothing that would disprove that either, just based on watching him. But it's just a situation where we need to see more live reps to really see where this thing goes.
All right, good stuff. Renee Montgomery, 2-time WNBA champ, star guard of the Atlanta Dream, has a question before we let you get out of here, Matt. Go ahead, Renee.
Okay, Matt, you got to put on your thinking cap here, okay? Finish this phrase, okay? Finish this phrase. One wife, 2 kids.
Oh, 3 rings.
Come on now, man. You better. Yes, I love it because they call me 2-time around here. So you 3 times. So I had to owe to you for being 3-time to my 2-time.
I haven't changed it in my Twitter profile, but because I've worked at Nesson for 9 years, something like that now, 8 years, 9 years, something like that. I've been there quite a while. We got staff rings when the Sox won their last pennant. So I'm not I'm not a huge baseball guy. I'm supportive of the local team, obviously, but I've got a little Red Sox version of the ring. And I'm like, I don't know if I can claim that or really.
I think you better stick with 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 that's the way to go for now, for sure.
All right, good stuff, man. Hey, enjoy the family, man. You're doing a great job, man. You're a great dad. I see all the stuff that you put out on Twitter, man, and you're a 3-time Super Bowl champ, and you're welcome to come on anytime. And if I have any Patriots questions, I will definitely be reaching out to you and my guy, Wiggy. We showed the picture the last time I was on Nesson was the Jimmy G outcoming, the out part of the party, the coming out party. Yeah, the 23-21 game. It was me, you, and Wiggy on the post-game show.
There you go.
We look forward to speaking with you in
hilarious.
The future, man.
All right, Larry, take care. Thanks,
all right,
guys.
thanks a lot. That's Matt Chatham, 3-time Super Bowl champ with the New England Patriots, finished this year here down in Gotham in the New York City area playing with the Jets. Guys, quick thoughts on Matt Chatham, 3-time Super Bowl champ. We'll start with you, Renee.
Listen, he had me at his profile bio. 1 wife, 2 kids, 3 rings. I mean, that was like, I was like, okay, I like this guy. All right, I like this guy. So that's my only thoughts. I have another thought. The song says, "We are the champions, not we were the champions," meaning it's always present tense.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Hey, that's a banger right there.
Hey, and let the queen speak about
Listen, I had to give my OG 2 cents. I was like, they didn't make the song "We Were the Champions" because you constantly are. So there's that.
And they do say "my friends." So
my friends.
All right, let's pick it up at the top. Matt, called in a little early, but hey, former NFL players and Super Bowl champs, when they call, we put them on. That's just how it works here for you guys. So we'll start with the NFL. We'll take your phone calls live here on esportsXTRA as well. 877-853-5247. Meeting ID is esportsXTRA. That's 377-678-9872. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. Larry Ridley, Renee Montgomery, Durham Worrell, and Ivan Curtis, the OG Brooklyn Nets. We'll start with you, Renee. The NFL, they allowed the protest. Looks like they're getting behind Cap. They made a mistake. They announced it last Friday night with the news dump we talked about on Sunday from Roger Goodell. The NFL is going all in on we're going away from you, President Trump. That's what it seems like anyway.
The NFL does not have a choice. At this point, I think it was almost an ultimatum when the players, all of your best players, make a video about, y'all gotta fix this. You gotta fix it. And they literally, to Matt's point, because I heard what Matt heard in a sense. They literally said, look, our league said we got to fix it, so we got to fix it, okay? We wouldn't have a league without these guys, so we got to let them protest. That's kind of what Matt was kind of saying. It seemed like they were saying, but they have to. My old point, I saw Randy Moss tweet today, y'all better get ready. I don't want to hear it. No, this is football. I don't want to see the movement. So Randy Moss has already put it out there too. There are going to be displays.
Absolutely. OG, your thoughts? The NFL looks like they're pushing to allow protests. Remember, they had some issues with the kneeling and things of that nature and standing for the flag. Jerry Jones, I think we'll probably talk about that tomorrow. He's one of those guys that was not into that. So, what gives here? Players are going to kneel. They're going to do that. I think what the NFL can do is You better throw a lot of money at this thing, and you better allow these players to do what they want, and then maybe they'll decide. Because I know one of the NFL players was talking about that from the Chargers today. Like, look, we all get behind this, or we not. So you're going to hear some coaches as well that will be speaking about the collective instead of the individuals as well. OG.
I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, you can only ignore something for so long till boom, like you finally get it. And I think this is where we at with the NFL. I mean, I think they realize that they made a mistake, and sometimes we just have to, like I said, be patient and accepting when people make mistakes. Just that video was powerful. I mean, and when you look at the players that's in it, I mean,
Star power.
It's a matter of
Yeah.
influence. And the last thing I want to say really
You
is
had the
that
offensive MVP from the year before and the defensive MVP in that video.
yeah, you want okay, we doing this. But
Yeah.
let's take it a little farther and use more of our power and to getting things right. So we don't have to constantly see what we witness time and time way too many times. I mean, this is a great starting point for the NFL, but let's keep building on it because I don't think the stance on it is going anywhere until we actually see some justice.
Derwin, your thoughts that there was a rogue employee, if you will, in the video department that helped sort of facilitate this, got with Mike Thomas, and those guys got it done. Praise the NFL players. Guys, they put this thing together in like 24 or 48 hours.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
not
read
all
all
the
about
That's how
it.
I went down. Yeah. Derwin, your thoughts?
Hey, I got a bunch of thoughts on this. And I talked about this before where I said that I would not be shocked if we going forward see an entire team kneeling on both sides of the football field. Because I think, one, I went back to look at the video.
Not pregame.
No. During the anthem. I'm not even worried about it. During the anthem, when I went back and watched the video, the player said, "When are you going to listen to us?" That's powerful. And then to have Mahomes in there, all those players that they were basically begging the NFL owners, listen to us. Do we have to die? I think was one of the words in the video. Do we have to die first before you guys listen to us? Not too often you get a second chance or mulligan at a situation. The NFL is getting a second chance. They didn't handle it right the first time. And I don't really blame them because they got blindsided by the whole Kaepernick and the kneeling thing. They didn't know how to react to it. They did not react well. Now, with this movement, which is a freight train, you better not be in front of this train as it's coming through. Everybody's on board. The NFL owners would be stupid to stop these players from kneeling. Peterson's already said he's kneeling, and Ron Rivera, the head coach, said, "I'm standing by him."
Which is significant. We'll get into that, but Ron Rivera was a proponent. And he's one of the 4 minority coaches in the NFL. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the Adrian Peterson thing. Any last thoughts on the NFL allowing the protests? Any last thoughts, guys? Anything?
I have a thought. I know the NFL teams probably wish now that they had that Black person on staff. Now, when it's hard to get a message through to the players, now I think that they should be able to see the reason for the Rooney Rule. Like that, now you understand that some of these topics, everyone on staff will have no idea how to communicate, how to relate, how they feel, how to make the players feel comforted. This is why you need representation. That's my last thought on that.
OG, anything? Last thought?
I mean, everything stems from communication and respect. And I think like I said, if you just listen to people. I mean, sometimes you come across people that you just meet and you don't know them or anything, but if you just take your time and listen to their story and listen to them, period. I mean, you can go a long way with that. Just communication and respect.
All right, good stuff. Let's move to the second topic. We were just talking about him, the Super Bowl MVP of the 2018 season, Patrick Mahomes, Mahomes boy. Very influential in getting the NFL's attention. Basically, he spurred the NFL's response to act quickly. And we'll show you some of the pictures and some of the headlines here about Patrick Mahomes. Your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes being in this video and getting the NFL's reaction and quickly to act? We'll start with you, Renee.
Yeah, you got the MVP. Whenever you have the MVP speaking, and when I say like MVP,
Doesn't get much bigger than that.
We're talking reigning, not, oh yeah, he's a form. We're talking the reigning one. he's on there saying Black Lives Matter. You have players, what if I was George Floyd? What, like you have bona fide superstars, and people don't understand leagues move on your superstars. That's why when LeBron says something, people always make jokes that LeBron runs the NBA. Of course, he's not making the final decisions, but you better believe that the NBA knows that if LeBron is against something, that's why LeBron had to come back out with that statement like, oh, okay, I understand. Maybe we will have to play without fans. He had to say that because if LeBron didn't say that, people would be like upset and be like, let fans in. So again, an MVP spoke and the league had to listen.
Derwin, your thoughts, Patrick Mahomes and how he spurred the NFL to cave in.
Well, there's only 2 players in the NFL right now that I think that could command that post as being the faces of the league. A guy that the NFL will want to stand behind is Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. Those 2 guys in there both happen to be black. So
and I would throw Tom Brady in there, but for black players,
for black players, this is a
sure.
black movement going on right now. But also those 2 guys are younger than Tom Brady, even though Tom Brady's been the face for 20 years.
Right.
But Mahomes is still young, and they're gonna, when Brady's gone, it's gonna be Mahomes, and Russell's a little bit older. So once Mahomes spoke up, both of them are Super Bowl champions. He was the MVP the year before. He's speaking out and saying, I'm Tamir Rice. You gotta listen to him. You gotta get behind this. And the NFL seeing what's going on in this country, what's going on around the world. They will be nuts if they do not get behind this movement right now.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy.
Derwin, Patrick Mahomes, man, leading the way, man. It was great that he lended his voice, man, and he lent his voice and was able to coax the NFL into doing the right thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw a quote where one of the guys. I'm sorry. One of the guys.
OG, but go ahead.
OG, one of the guys.
No, you good. Go ahead, Derwin.
One of the guys from the NFL. You probably saw this quote. He was talking to for the ESPN. He was talking to one of the NFL executives, and they said once they saw Patrick Mahomes in there, they knew that Roger Goodell had to get on this. All the NFL owners were all on board that, hey, we got to do something right now and get on board and get in front of this before it passes us by.
OG, hop on in here.
I mean, the one thing that to me, what caught my attention, other than all that's been mentioned, is Patrick Mahomes. He's unique. Like, I mean, he's not only, I believe his mom is white, correct?
Yeah, dad was black. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that makes the message even more powerful to me, because I mean, although he faces a lot of different trials and tribulations of being black and white. I mean, so him getting behind that and pushing the envelope, I mean, definitely beyond him being the champion. And he also carries no false narrative, because a lot of times when people stand up for justice or anything like that, the first thing they do is fact check you and backgrounds and all this and all that. He hasn't been anything. Like, he hasn't been anything other than and just a pure model for the NFL. So I liked it. I mean, and it's everybody's been making these bone chilling videos that, like, once you watch it, and it's over, you feel like, I got to do something. Like, whatever I can do, I if whether it's just voicing out or getting out of the box and recognizing situations and putting it out there and saying, hey, this needs to be addressed and let's talk about it.
Yeah, everyone's getting off their hands, man, and off the sidelines and out into the streets, or lending whatever hand they can, whatever support that they can. You see all of the players out in these rallies. You see people like you and I who aren't loud people at all times about hardly anything, speaking up and saying, hey, enough's enough. We've been through this for a long time, 401 years since we got here in Virginia in 1619. Can we live up to the promise of this great country? It's that simple, America. That's all we're asking, just to be equal. And, like I, put on Instagram last night on my stories, I was like, all lives matter, of course they do, but damn it, Black lives matter too. And that's all we're saying. Can we matter just as much as all the other lives? So it's good to see everyone basically on the same page. You look at the polling, I'm sort of, heartened by it, but I mean, even 70-80%, you're like, damn, really, there's still 20-30% people that don't think this is important.
How much more proof do you need? Like, that's the only
I think that's the point. They're getting the proof, but the proof that they want, so that's why they're still there.
Well, it's like they said, until it happens to you, you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So, with that privilege, I mean, you saw the white woman in the video that smacked the Latin, little younger Latin girl, and the Latin girl smacked her back. Well, she touched her and she
I
slapped
was
her.
about to say, let's get it right. She thought that she was allowed. She must have thought
Exactly.
she
Go
was the
back to your
store
country.
owner.
Yeah.
She must have thought she was the store owner. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, Google it. But
Yeah, Google
there
it,
was an
yeah.
older lady that
It
was
was in
like
Phoenix.
running the store. She
Right.
she touched someone, and you're not allowed. Keep your hands to yourself.
Right.
And so when you don't, she got her face slapped off,
She got
and
that
it
one
was
piece.
and it was and they had to call the cops, and she harassed the lady. She grabbed her. I feel
Well,
bad for
she
them.
works for her husband's law firm. The husband has spoke about it, and he's terrible. He feels bad about it. Says he's not racist. He talked about his wife. She's got some mental issues going on, some health imbalance stuff. But dude, they went from 3 reviews to thousands of negative reviews, and they might not make it. That's the power of this movement. I don't want to see anyone, go through all of that, but you better address it. And we're not going to act this way. And when we do, this light's going to go like this.
Now's not the time to be sassy. I tweeted it out. People, now is just not the time
and the
to
cockroaches
be sassy.
will disperse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff with that. Malcolm Jenkins, we know about the disagreements that he had with Cap and and Eric, when they were kneeling and with the Players Coalition and the message being lost and who's doing what, who's more pro this and more pro that. But now it seems like all is forgiven and he's fully behind this idea that Cap should play. And a lot of other players are starting to get that. Last time when this happened, it was 50-50. Even in the black community, you had some guys like, I don't want to go through this. I'll just stand. Now everybody, all of the players, all 1,600 of them are now behind this, that Cap needs to play. We saw Matt Ryan mention it. Your thoughts, guys, on Malcolm Jenkins and other NFL stars saying Cap should play and he should be on a team today.
So has Cap said that he wants to play? And I'm only asking this. Okay.
Well, he hasn't said it, but people.
Oh boy.
See, and I know, and that's the problem I have to.
So
we're gonna get into it more tomorrow, but yes, the feeling
that's
is
all I'm making
he's
sure.
more
So
eager and committed now than ever. We're going to talk about it tomorrow, but right now, Malcolm Jenkins and other players.
Okay, so now that I know that Malcolm Jenkins, so he said he had made a statement, and I thought it made a lot of sense. Where he said, "I still don't think the NFL has gotten it right." He said, "At the end of the day, now they've made the statement. They've listened to their players. They've donated a little money. They created the platform, Inspire Change platform. They've changed things up, but he thinks that they owe him a direct apology. I don't necessarily think that you're going to get." I just don't think you're going to get Roger Goodell to give an apology, and I'm just being realistic.
Can you just say his name?
No, absolutely not.
When y'all got them to say Black Lives Matter, I thought that was a win. Remember, I told you that was a win. If he does even say his name, and I know some people are going to be mad, but this is systematic, meaning somebody might have grown up where their uncle was a little bit racist, their aunt, their parents, their grandparents. So a lot of people don't even know that they're a little bit racist. I think that if Colin Kaepernick wants to play, of course, he got to be in the league. Like, I didn't know if he really wanted to play, because it could be like, oh, now y'all want me to play? Like, I didn't know if he was going to have that stance. But if he wants to play, I mean, and again, I understand he hasn't played for 3 years, but that's y'all's fault. Come on now.
Yeah, and now he's got to come in, and there are no
It's
open
terrible
jobs,
situation.
But I mean, look, that's the thought. We'll go with you, OG, on this, man. Your thoughts on all of these players backing that Cap needs to play.
I think the Colin Kaepernick situation is the perfect example of systemic racism, like to me, because I mean,
it's not fair and it's not just, and we saw that. We know he was blackballed, and they won't even admit to that. And it's like, dude, hop up to it.
That's the thing,
they take it to the grave.
Because
everybody knows it.
Even to me, like you've never heard anything negative as far as him being a teammate, a leader, quarterback, or anything. And then you can't even put statistics into it, because his statistics blow a lot of backups and some starters out of the water. So it's
guys that haven't even played in the last few years are signing as backup.
That's what I'm saying.
Guy went to a Super Bowl and 2 conference championships. Still holds the record for most yards in a playoff game.
And that's why I don't blame him if he didn't want to play. That's my whole point. Like, we all knew it. They can't. Of course, they can apologize now. There's no way that all the teams collectively, no one signed him. So we understand something happened there. That's why if I was calling Kaepernick, maybe you don't even want to play. Like, that's why I was asking that, because I mean, I get it, because that's what they always try to do. Athletes love to play the sport, so they know that. But it's almost like now you got everybody rooting for you. We all want to see him do well. He hasn't played in 3 years. All eyes, every little thing he does is going to be under a magnifying glass. It's just not the best of circumstances now.
Derwin, let's get in here, man. I know you got a lot to say about this. First
you
of all,
you ain't got enough time.
I know.
You ain't got enough time.
You know what? I'm with you on that, because I wish that he would step up more. I don't know what's going on, and I look, I applaud everything he's doing.
I'm glad you said that.
But I don't know, and I have to be honest with you. I don't know. You know what I know? Just say it. Damn it, I want to play. And I'll play anywhere. I'm better than most of these bums. Say it.
No.
I want him to say
This guy, first off, he was sitting down at first. See, you don't have enough time. He was sitting down at first. For 2 weeks, he sat down. Nobody paid him any mind because he was second string. Nobody was looking for him. The young boy was playing quarterback.
Alex Smith.
Not Alex Smith. His last year.
I played with San Fran. He ended up starting. What's his guy's name?
I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, me neither.
But the Niners
from Southern Miss, Nick something.
He was in
Blaine
Jacksonville.
Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert was quarterbacking, right?
Missouri quarterback.
Yes, Coach Gabbert.
The Niners were getting rid of him.
Right.
But Kaepernick's money was guaranteed $14 million. He could have gave the owner a middle finger. He's still getting paid. So he says no one's paying him any mind. Then a fan takes a picture of him sitting. Now the media comes to him, his locker. It's like, well, what happened? Why are you sitting down? And he talks about, he gave a really good answer. Talked about social injustice. Sure. You know, he doesn't want to stand for the flag or whatever. After that, really, Cap has pretty much disappeared. He had all these social medias. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't lead the charge. And you want to talk about records? The guy was 4-20 in his last 24 games. He was 4 wins and 20 losses.
I will push back a little bit. His numbers were pretty good. I know he was 16-4 with touchdowns, interceptions in 2016. That was a bad San Fran team.
Larry, he was bad. He was bad, Larry. He was bad.
There's a lot of bad. I'm with you on
that. We're not going to talk about. Hold on, let me finish.
Is he one of the top 64 quarterbacks on this planet?
He ain't worth the headache. I'm not signing him.
That's a different story.
But what? It's a business. Why would I?
Yeah, but that's the problem. Y'all created the headache, and now you don't want me because I'm a headache.
No. And
I tell you what, if he stands up and says, "I want to play," he should be in the league. He's one of the top 64 QBs in this country.
The only time you've heard him say he wanted to play is when he was wearing his Kuta Kinte t-shirt in Atlanta after he unprofessionally blew off an opportunity to throw in front of 24 teams.
That was in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, Hugh Jackson came out there to help him, the quarterback guru. He made it a sham, a half hour.
But I mean, okay.
Did he not? Did he not blow it off?
Yes, I'm with you. But don't you think the NFL probably set him up to fail with some of that too?
No,
the way it was set up and the structure of it. Yeah,
no.
I'm enjoying this. Keep
going. Larry,
because I agree with them on like about 75%, but there's a 25%.
Why you show up? You knew what it was. Why?
They went to another high school.
You can't do that.
Well, I mean,
you can't do that.
But there was a lot going on. Like who can attend?
Stop making excuses for this guy.
No, but what I'm saying is, I want everybody to just drop it all. I'm like, get out there.
It ain't gonna drop if Malcolm Jenkins and them talk about give Cap a job. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm gonna go back to what
that's muddy in the waters.
Do you not think some of this is systemic though with the NFL? It's gotta be, bro. A little bit of it is, absolutely.
You have to at least say that they all agreed on not bringing him back. There were plenty of times that teams
in the NFL right now.
That's the only thing I'm saying. Bro.
At least you can say that they had to have at least everyone talked about it and chose not to sign him.
Well, I don't know if the teams. I don't know if they. Listen. Well, he had it. Well, he had. We also forget to mention he had an opportunity to take it to court. And prove his case. What did Cap do? He took the money. Not only did he take the money,
and that's why the NFL is not mentioning his name right now. That's the reason.
But
you want him to play. So hold up. You're gonna sue me, and I pay you to go away, and then 3 years later you talk about you want to play?
I get what Derwin is saying.
I get what you're saying. That's why.
Do you want to play?
That's why. That was my first question I asked when we brought this whole topic up. I said I need to understand if he wants to play or if he doesn't, because those are two different avenues. If this man really wants to play, I don't care what you're saying, Derwin, that he left the thing.
I don't think he wants to play.
Didn't get the fair shake at it. That's a given.
I don't think he wants to play.
OG, get in here. Does he want to play? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, no. The thing about it, I was with it, but then it came to a point. It's like it's fact. Like he just sits back. And he doesn't say anything. Like he doesn't do like.
That's why I don't know. I'm really asking.
The only proactive stance he took was to kneel, and then after that, it's pretty flatline. Like it's nothing. Like so, I'm with Derwin on that. Like the only thing,
valiant points. Yeah.
I mean that's the key to it. I had to stop and think. Like man, you know what it is everybody speaking for him.
Exactly.
Everybody.
But is that not orchestrated? So the same way that y'all said that people in his camp, y'all know he wants to play because people in his camp, is that not the same then as him? Or I know you guys are saying you want his voice, but you can't necessarily say he went silent when he has these different camps for kids. He has different things he's doing now. Let's be clear. I know you guys are saying.
What's he doing for social injustice?
And he's raising money. Look, he
for social injustice.
He does a lot with that. He's giving a lot of money. Absolutely.
Social injustice. I'm not talking about charity. I'm talking about maybe I missed it. What has he done for social injustice? But
I don't think you can separate those two. I don't think you can separate because if he's going to
his girlfriend, wife, that the radio DJ here.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of them. She's another problem.
Exactly. I don't know. She's not a problem.
But listen, Larry.
I think she wants to play more than him.
Listen, she talks more than him.
That's an open question.
And Larry, you mentioned the Ravens, right? You mentioned the Ravens.
Yeah.
And what happened? Bashadi, John Harbaugh, because his brother had Cap with the Niners.
Right.
Ozzie Newsome was there. They thought about signing Cap. They bring Cap in.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Nessa, he puts out a racist tweet about the owner Ray Lewis. And Ray Lewis co-signed to sign him. Why would you bring him in there? Why?
Yeah.
When every other time the girlfriend is tweeting something. Who wants that?
That's a good point. I don't know. I just.
He's a quarterback. He's supposed to be the leader of the football team.
It is complicated.
Stand up in front. If Colin Kaepernick tomorrow said, "I'm holding a press conference," every single news outlet will be there to cover him. He has the world's ear, and he never speaks. Everybody else speaks for him.
I think what I'm saying is, can all things not be true? Is what I'm basically saying. I think you're absolutely right. I'd like to hear from him.
You can't straddle the fence, man.
But there is some systemic issues. I'll see you, Coach K, real quickly before we move on.
I told you they had enough time.
Coach K's trying to move us on. No, that was entertaining. I would have loved to watch the Larry Laptop and Derwin go at that topic. I just wanted to watch it, see, because some of that stuff I knew you guys knew what you was talking about. All I was saying is I need to know if the man wants to play because everybody's like, let him play. And if I'm Cap, I could be like, nah, look, now y'all want me to play. I'm 3 years out. I don't want to play. So I was just, does he want to play?
What's the old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Coach K?
Okay, well, my thing is for, Derwin A. Smith and the rest of the team. Okay, a good example.
His Derwinisms.
Derwin did
was well said.
He brought up the whole concept of the laying back and being silent. I think the best example that I've seen of that is with the Super Bowl. Not this past Super Bowl, but the one before that where Travis Scott did the halftime show.
What, in Atlanta?
Yes. And everyone was like, you sell out.
Yeah.
Everyone that's black involved with the Super Bowl, blah, 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 all the other stuff. You need to run this by Cap. So I'll admit, when I heard that, first of all, the first thing that came to mind is the silence. Like, if he want to say something, he'll say it. And then also, too, it's like, now Cap is like the leader. Like, I don't get it. Like, everyone got to run stuff by him now. Like, I don't get it. So I kind of feel what Derwin is saying on that and stuff like that.
I feel a lot of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, it's understood. He made a lot of good points.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I do agree. Also, on the other end, that it was systemic. It was systemic, and
that's what I'm saying. A lot of it is true. I mean, you can't tell me the NFL's not doing this.
That's the main point that I got with the whole situation is just like at least own up to that.
Exactly.
Because it was. It was no reason for him not to be on a roster unless he didn't want to play. Like,
because I have a question.
Look, Derwin, do Brian Hoyer has a chance to start for the Patriots. You don't think Colin Kaepernick's better than Brian Hoyer? Like, really?
Do you think that Cap would have wanted to play in those 3 years though? Like, I know now it's gotten to the point where everybody's like, does he really want to play? Does he really want to talk?
I don't know.
But I'm curious, Duran, do you think that when everybody was passing him up, that he wouldn't have even played then? You think he was done? Like, because that's the problem I'm having with it. A lot of times, like, people will be like, I can remember when people got hurt, and there was a lot of times where there was literally a drought and quarterbacks were like needed, and people were like, Cap gotta get a shot now. But I'm just saying, do you think that in that 3-year span that he was passed up on an opportunity that he probably could have seized, like had a good showing? Because that's, I think, the point of everybody's trying to make. In those 3 years, he was passed up enough by all the owners. They clearly made some type of agreement to where now this window, it might have passed. We don't know, but he didn't get a fair shake. I think that's the main concern, right? Or I don't know all the ins and outs. But.
Well, to get a shot, he's going to have to drop those lawsuits. So they got to clear that up. It's complicated.
He had sued them. And
it's complicated.
I don't know if all 32 teams say, hey, don't sign Cap. I think as business owners,
they may have not have said it out loud.
When you see fan bases talking about banning and not watching the games and not doing all this stuff, and fan bases didn't want him, so there's certain places he can't go. Why would you bring him in there and upset your fan base? Yep. He wasn't that good to begin with. That's where you lose me. That's where you lose me. No,
that's where
Larry,
you lose.
What are we talking about? Kaepernick from the NFC Championship game, or Kaepernick the last 2 years? He was coming off of 3 injuries, 3 surgeries.
I know, but the team wasn't very good.
Chip Kelly fiasco.
Neither was he. You can't exclude him. He wasn't good either.
But here's the problem: all of the other retreads. They get retreaded.
All those others
not good, but
that's privilege, right?
It's a ton of bum quarterbacks that get opportunity after opportunity. And guess what, Dirk? They don't look like us.
Look at this. Look at this. The number 1 overall pick for the Cleveland Browns, right? Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield. Way more interceptions than touchdowns. As bad as Cap played, look at his numbers in 2016. Mm-hmm. Wasn't it like 16-4?
That's what you got? 16-4? I mean, he was 4-20. He was 4-20.
I know, but is that? But you can look at pieces. Is that not at least sustainable? Is that not at least competent?
You got to watch the games, Larry. You watch the game.
I do watch the game. If my quarterback is 16-4, I can work with. He at least belongs in the league. I'm not saying that you're going to a Super Bowl, but damn it, if you can have Brian Hoyer, if you can have. All these other guys.
That dude on the Bills. That quarterback in the Bills.
This is what happened to Cap.
Hey, listen to what you're saying.
Nathan Peterman.
That dude. You saying that dude. You can't even say his name. Like
Nathan Peterman. He pulled the Peterman.
Cap kind of played himself because he opted out of his contract. He didn't get cut.
Look, you're right on that.
He opted out of his contract thinking that people were going to beat down his door. But you already alienated yourself from the league.
That's a valid point. That's a very valid point.
It's like he's cocky, like we supposed to call you.
Sure, and there's some of that. People think he might be. This might be more of a.
He laid back. My phone go ring, and his phone don't ring. Don't be mad.
A lot of people question his intention, so I believe that's fair. I just got one question for you.
Okay.
Is he not one of the best 64 quarterbacks on this planet? Yes or no?
32 years old right now?
Right now, is he not one of the top 64?
I can tell Derwin's answer.
He just don't want to admit it.
What are we basing? What we basing it on for 3?
You pick the metric, any one of them.
He said at 33.
Right.
And he's 32, but yes.
That'll be
sorry, I'm 33, so I heard 33 because I'm 33.
Renee, top 64 QBs right now, is Colin Kaepernick one of them? Yay or nay?
I mean, I think that people would
Yay
agree.
or nay?
I think Derwin would agree, but he's saying that with the headache that he comes along with, no. I think that's Derwin's point. Like, yes, like you have to. Derwin, don't you think that he could, with everything aside, just
He
football
hasn't even
players?
admitted that.
No,
He
no.
hasn't admitted that.
Well, then ask him. With everything aside,
Okay, can he be second string on a team?
Oh my God!
Maybe.
Here we go.
Yes, I think he'll be second string on a team.
Let me go to you.
I hope he doesn't play.
Okay, finally. It took 7:57 p.m. Eastern.
all you had to ask, I just had to ask him, Larry Laptop.
Derwin
That's
joined the rest of
all.
us. Derwin joined Planet Earth at 7:57.
Derwin A. Smith.
I love Derwin. Hey,
But you
was
know,
great.
But
you
right now,
you got a point.
a coach is going to want to take the younger guy to groove. He doesn't want the 32-year-old guy that's missed 3 years.
Of course, coaches don't want the
to begin
problems.
with. That was,
Coaches don't want anything that's going to have media attention. Like, coaches don't want any distractions. So of course, that's why I had to say distractions aside, because everywhere he walks, if he's drinking Starbucks, they're gonna be like, wait, that's not a black-owned business. And like that, he's gonna be that guy. Like everything he does is gonna be under the microscope. So of course, coaches don't necessarily want to bring that.
But the Bills in their quarterback room, they got 2 alleged racists. But that's okay. It's okay. They made mistakes.
And then the other question we need to touch upon is how much
and the other guy was still starting QB later.
We don't even know, and I've talked about this before.
I love this.
If Kaepernick would even play for second string salary.
You want to talk about intent? You want to talk
salary?
You talk about bringing bad publicity and bad attention to your franchise. Jake Fromm.
Kaepernick ain't playing for $4 million.
Buffalo Bills. He didn't embarrass.
Kaepernick is not going to play for $4 million, Larry. He's not going to do it.
That's a valid point.
He's not going to do it.
I'll give you that.
I think we should have had a whole Kaepernick show. This is actually really good, guys.
I tried to tell him he didn't have enough time.
I definitely no. You're right.
Hey, next time he say that about anything, I'm gonna believe him.
I believe him, but it was all facts. I would like to say,
right?
Yeah. When people show you, they believe him. But I
believe him.
But listen, it was great though, because he was. I mean, you was hitting us with some facts. You're just skipping over this one fact that's making a whole hole in your thing. He is good enough to actually be in the league, but there is a distraction factor. But there is no question that
some locker rooms are stronger, some organizations are stronger, some cities are more liberal and more tolerant. So absolutely. OG, you've been silent, bro. Yes or no?
I said yes.
He said yes. He said yes.
Renee, top 64? Is he one of the best 64?
Listen, I'm the one that knew how to ask the question to get Derwin to answer the question properly here. Distractions aside, of course, that's not even up for debate, but people know that he comes with a lot now, and that's the issue.
All right, it started. Go ahead.
And even going back to Seattle, when Seattle brought him up there, you know how that locker room is.
I mean, but once again, how genuine was that?
It's Pete Carroll.
I know.
Come on, man.
I know, but Russell Wilson, he don't want that guy behind him.
That's not true. Hold on,
Tom Brady don't even want a decent ball behind him.
Russell Wilson talking about Antonio Brown. What are you talking about?
That's different. He gets to throw the ball to him. Antonio Brown's not taking his job. He does.
Yo,
come on, bro.
Hold on. Time out. Pete Carroll's legacy, he gives people opportunities. 1, 2, the Seahawk locker room. They can handle anything.
Derwin, you've been in this business long enough. You are a grown man with kids and a wife and everything. Don't you realize
now you're going to bring the kids into it?
He had me when he said, you're a grown man.
Yeah, you're a grown man. You know when things are genuine or not. Come on, bro.
So now Pete Carroll's not genuine. Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
Come on.
I don't believe everything that people tell me.
This is the same guy that brought in.
Cynical. Yeah.
That brought in. What's the boy from New England that got all the drug issues? I mean, he gives people opportunities.
No, Flash Gordon. He's right there.
Flash Gordon.
Gordon.
He gives people. He had Percy Hawk. He gives guys opportunities.
Once again, that's a receiver.
Another receiver.
But listen,
when have the Seahawks had a really good backup? What?
You act like Russell Wilson's scared. Russell Wilson ain't scared of Colin Kaepernick. Are you kidding me?
He's probably
Colin
not.
Kaepernick couldn't hold, what?
Man. Yeah,
Russell Wilson.
Dude, Tom Brady. Do we not agree Tom Brady's the GOAT? Yes or no?
Yes,
not the GOAT.
Yes.
Tom Brady didn't want freaking Kevin O'Connell behind his ass.
That's Tom Brady. Russell don't care.
Most of the guys are like that. They don't want no guy. Look,
But I brought this up to make a point.
Hey, what happened with Aaron Rodgers during this NFL draft?
He was upset.
Upset why?
They drafted a quarterback.
Why?
They drafted a quarterback for the future. And Aaron's in his 30s.
Why was Aaron okay?
He doesn't want competition.
An MVP and a Super Bowl winner.
Right.
Why is he worried about some kid that barely did well at Utah State?
Exactly.
They don't want anybody behind him. That's the whole point.
What is Pete Carroll's mantra? What is his mantra?
I forget. Tell me.
Always compete.
Yeah, if you're a competitor, you are welcome in his locker room.
Hey, exactly.
That sounds great. Everybody knows. People love competing until it's time to compete for their spot.
Everybody on the Seahawks team, they got to battle. They got to compete to keep their jobs.
Derwin,
everybody does.
Derwin, but let me ask you this: if you're a big-time sportscaster at a big-time network making big money, and they say, "Hey, we're going to bring in this kid. We want you to train." How are you going to feel about that?
That's different.
Hey, I didn't even say a guy that's good. I said just a damn kid to train. And he don't even want to train the kid. Think about if the guy actually had a daggone resume. America, listen to him.
Hey.
Listen to him. Everyone wants to train him.
No, I would train him. I would train him because I feel like with my experience, he's not a threat to me. That's okay.
We got the tape, Derwin. You had to think about if you wanted to train him, though. And you didn't even know he could have been training the janitor. You don't even know who he trained him, but you wasn't going to train him.
He said, "That's different."
But getting back to the Seahawks. When they
Derwin for GM. I want him to be a GM.
When they brought Kaepernick in, they brought him in because their quarterback, the backup, had gotten arrested. And that was the second time Boykin had been arrested. So as soon as Boykin got arrested, Cap's name came up. And Pete Carroll brought Cap up there. He said, I don't need to work him out. I see him twice a year. The Seahawks backup was only making $1 million. And it's a salary cap. So I know they were only going to be able to offer Cap a certain amount of money.
Look, as a backup, he's not going to be making, 10, 15, 20
He probably makes.
That's a fair point.
I've said this.
Well, stay in that lane, bro. Don't do this.
Cap has made more money off the field.
Right.
Actually, time out. He's made more money from the NFL without actually doing anything because he $14 million guaranteed sitting on the bench. He signed the settlement. We don't know how much buku money that was.
Sure.
He ain't telling nobody.
We kind of heard, and you heard, it wasn't as much as initially thought. A lot of people were thinking 80 million. Well, I was hearing maybe single digits. No, maybe 10 max.
So
that's what I was hearing. High single digits. But we don't know.
Hey, man.
Hell, what if it's 20 or 30 million? You're right. The whole point is, where's the desire? Colin, do you want to play? That's where I'm at. All the other stuff.
I don't like this ultimatum at this point because it's like everybody. Well, it's because the reason I feel like it's an ultimatum because it's like he could have been like, yeah, I did want to play when I was in playing shape in a playing rhythm, and then I got completely blackballed. I'm just saying that. Look, I know you don't believe it, but I just think that there's just no way that not one team. Like I out of everything that's happened during, you don't believe that one team, even with a couple of distraction things, you don't believe that one team didn't want to do it but knew they didn't want to go against the NFL. Probably.
I don't think it was not going against the NFL. I think it was they don't want the headache. They don't want to piss
the headache of the other owners to be like, why did you sign that guy? Look what you got him doing in our league again.
No, because I'm going to go back to there's certain teams, like for example, the Seahawks owner doesn't even you don't even know who he is. He doesn't even meddle. He's passed away now, but he lets Pete Carroll do everything. Pete Carroll is the boss. Okay. So not all owners are like that. But some owners, some teams did not want the headache. What is it worth? Bringing Cap in and having a headache. The country's already divided with everything else going on. The fan base is already pissed off with the kneeling bit. Are we going to bring him in and deal with that and lose fans?
But the point is, he was kneeling for social injustice. The fact that we're all about to do that. How do we feel about the fact that? I understand. Colin Kaepernick has not changed. My point is,
he's 3 years older.
We don't
I'm
know.
saying
we haven't heard from him. That's the whole point.
I'm saying what
know.
he did that got him such a big distraction and such a big headache. All of your players are about to start doing. So it's a muted point at this point now. I understand it was a different time, but now all your players are about to start doing what this guy is doing. So there's something wrong there. It's like when people want people out of prison for selling drugs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, weed is legal now. Free my boy. Like, you know how people say it? Like, that's the point.
Right.
Go ahead, Durham. Go ahead.
Well, closing with this. Yes, things have changed and everyone's about to start kneeling again, but you don't want to start muddying the waters to bring him back. He's done. It's over it. That ship has passed. It's over with. Just move forward. We got a good train, momentum going. You got all these companies shelling out money, giving to the cause.
I understand that.
You don't want to mess this up, trying to ram Colin Kaepernick down everybody's throat.
Yeah, but it's tough, man, when the guy that started the movement, man.
He's not hurting.
Yeah,
he got money.
Again, is it about that? It's about if he wants. That's why I asked the first question.
If he
does he want to play?
I agree. If he wants to play, ain't
nobody heard from him.
That's true. That's true. Man. That's true. All right, let's move on. We've all heard. Go ahead, Coach K, real quick.
We're gonna get to the NASCAR stuff, and Derwin's gonna be like, "Derwin, what do you think?" That's cool.
All right, we're talking about kneeling. Adrian Peterson played with the Redskins last year. He said no doubt he's going to kneel. There will be some kneeling this year. I want to get you guys' thoughts on the kneeling, man. It looks like it's going to happen, man. Like I said, you look at these players, they're all in unison. They're all lockstep. It's a band of brothers or a brotherhood, whatever you want to call it. You're going to see a lot of that this year. I think if the NFL wants to sort of take some of the heat off of here, they got to come up with something that gets everybody on board. And you know what? Tomorrow we got to talk about Jerry Jones because I've had enough of that. We'll go with OG. You haven't really said a whole lot. Your thoughts on Adrian Peterson?
Y'all haven't heard a whole lot.
I've actually heard OG.
I was getting some, man, but you know, it's what we said a week ago. I mean, I kind of pointed out. I kind of felt like it was gonna be a stronger movement than what it's been in the past, and I think what it's showing is that unified. That's how you create change. And we can't always control the narrative of how we go about creating the change. The most important part is for things to change. So, you know, I don't think it's no longer going to be viewed as a spectacle. I think it's something that the players are being united with, and everybody else beyond. Like I said, we got another topic to talk about tomorrow about speaking on it, but I mean, I love it, and at the end of the day, like, we just want things to change. Like, I mean, everybody's hurting, and then the last thing I want to say about it is, like, a lot of these black football players, basketball players, their lives it doesn't be removed from them just because they're millionaires and famous and everything like that. They
LeBron James have the N-word spray painted on his property.
Yeah, it's still things that they have to deal with. So I like it, and it's just to be expected.
Duran, your thoughts? Adrian Peterson kneeling this year.
I think it's one of those things where teams are going to be doing it. I think that just to show that you're with their brothers.
Yeah.
I think I would feel weird if I'm on a team and everybody else is kneeling and I'm not at this point. I mean, if you see people, I see videos of protesters in the street. I saw a little Caucasian girl.
You saw Blue Lives Matter, guys.
People are kneeling. So it's now become. It took a couple of years, but like Jay-Z said, we are past that. So when he said that, he was talking about moving on to what is next. So people have gotten over kneeling and disrespecting the flag. They realize it wasn't disrespect. So now I think it's okay to kneel now.
Yeah. Renee, we were showing pictures of Colin Kaepernick earlier, and we saw him at San Diego next to Boyer, the Green Beret, who told him this is how you should do it. And I think that's powerful. We'll get past this once you see the white players kneeling with him. I think you have to have the whole team. You have to have these star quarterbacks, which we're seeing. Breeze. You saw. I want to see Tom Brady down on a knee. I know Tom Brady's a cool white guy, white dude, and I've had great interactions with him. Tom Brady can do a lot for this movement.
Yep.
Take a knee. I want to see all of this. We saw, Matt Ryan say Colin deserves to play. You're seeing all of this momentum, Renee. We got to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see everybody take a knee. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and you know what? If we rewound the tape, I just remember it. But OG said it off top
Yeah,
when we first started talking about it. He literally said,
last week.
"Yeah," and even your reaction was like, "Whoa!" I mean, you mean
everybody?
Yeah, but that's why though. No, but I was going to say Larry Laptop's reaction was normal. That was, I think, because it's that shocking. Because from where the NFL came from
That
to
was just
1 year
1 week ago.
later,
That was 1 week ago.
yeah,
Not even a
to
year, a week
one.
ago.
So to I understand why Larry Laptop said that, because it's like,
Hey,
whoa.
what are you doing calling me Larry Laptop? You don't do that
Sorry,
in
Larry,
public.
because
No, yeah,
you
I
was
like
about
it. I
your
like it, baby.
business
I
there,
like it, baby.
but I get it. So fast forward now to where Derwin's white, white.
Oh, white. Oh.
Not white.
Derwin's
Not
right.
white.
To where I do think that there will be a lot of players that it's almost going to be a peer pressure thing, like in a positive manner, where like you feel like the odd man out because why aren't you like, now that we all understand what the kneel is about, it makes it a lot more awkward for why aren't you standing if we all understand it's not about America anymore, so now there's going to be that positive peer pressure. And to Adrian Peterson, he didn't just say, yeah, I think I'm going to stand. He said, without a doubt, and it gave me
Without a
to
doubt,
this
yeah.
day vibes. So I think that everybody needs to get ready. There's going to be some kneeling. And again, I'm just curious to see if a player takes it a step further. I don't know what that step further looks like, but if players started going like this, I don't know, but what are the owners going to do if players take it a step further? I know the kneeling is okay. That's pretty much understood that that's okay. But what happens if players start holding up the fist, or what happens if they take it a step further? Is the NFL going to still say we got to support our guys?
They said they're going to allow protests,
Yeah,
including kneeling. You got to give me the fist. We're still thirsty.
Listen.
101 years later, still
The
thirsty.
step further to me is, like you said, the Tom Brady's and the Drew Brees.
I want to see the
that's
star
the
white
step
quarterback.
to me. That's the step further.
Yeah, but that's still kneeling, and they've already pretty much said, they've said including kneeling. But what if a player wants to show their protest in their own way? Like everybody always says things.
They do that during the national anthem now. At the very end, you hear, put the salute up. And
At the very end, what if all the players that are black are like, I'm telling you, it'll be a sight to see, and people look, the owners have almost came to grips with, okay, we can
if you can do it in the
kneeling.
streets of America right now, and cops are doing it, it's over.
What? This is the NFL. No, I don't think it's that simple.
NFL, you cannot walk this back now. You can't go down there and say,
I'm curious
wrong.
to see. Look,
I'm with you.
They're saying they're comfortable with kneeling, and I think that that's after a long discussion. They're probably like, we have to let these guys kneel. But I'm just curious that if players start taking and doing their own demonstrations, how comfortable are they?
Look, unless I'm sure there could be something that we can all deem obscene or inappropriate, but the power salute. I mean, John, Carlos and those guys from '68. Yeah, we've been doing that for 40, 50 years, man.
And nobody has stood the whole anthem and did that. I'm just telling you.
No, but I know Malcolm Jenkins and those guys. They did do the power thing 4 years ago. Look, if you're gonna allow them to take a knee, you're going to allow the Black Power symbol as well. Like I said, we can sit in the streets of America. You can see it on the football field. But that's interesting. But you're right. A week ago, when he said, "I believe all teams are going to kneel," all the players were like, "I was thinking, what, during the anthem?" No.
You said that. You said, wait, the minute before? We talked. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff, man. I like when we're wrong, or at least I am.
That's a win. That's why. Remember, I said it. We got to find the wins. That's a win, because I thought that was a little bit like dramatic too. Like, I don't know if a lot, but now I can expect a lot, and that's a win. So we got to clap it up sometimes for the wins. You guys, you can't let the wins go by. We were wrong, and it's good.
Absolutely. All right, we'll move this thing along because according to my math, Renee has to get out in 14 minutes. We're gonna probably be a little late. She'll probably be more like 8:35.
Nah, I'm here for that. I was here for that, so we can go past.
Major League Baseball latest proposal, guys. All right, so let's look back. We've heard numbers of 48 games, 50 games, 76, 80, 82. 80, we saw 89. I've seen 114. I've seen 100. That's about 8, 9, 10 damn numbers right there. The latest proposal, Major League Baseball is offering a 76 game schedule. The players came back and said, we want 89. Coach K and I were talking about this last night. Split that in the middle, and split the difference. You're around what, 82, 83. Where did they start? Around 80, 82. What the hell are we doing here for the last month? I want you guys to explain that to me. I said they were always going to come right back to where
negotiating. And I say that because the WNBA, we're in a negotiation, and they keep reminding us that part of negotiating is you have to do this. You have to send these fake numbers and send these other fake numbers and then send us some more fake numbers back. And let's think about it, guys. Okay. So, right. I mean, that's just apparently how negotiations work. So what have we been doing for a month? Negotiating
from 48 games to 114 games. The very first negotiation was 80 games, 80, 82. I think that's where we're going to end up. So, OG, what are your thoughts? 76 games, 89 games, 114, 48 or 50. Major League Baseball. Now they're saying July 10th is the time. Well, it's already June 10th. It's going to take them 3 or 4 weeks to do a light spring training. Guys, you're running out of time. You want to even play in July?
Exactly. I mean, I thought the 76.
They don't want to go past October for the World Series.
Right. So I thought the 76 game was good, and the percentages. I mean, obviously, I don't own any of those contracts, but I think the 75%.
Yeah.
I don't know how much higher they plan to get beyond that, but like you said, time is going to be of the essence after a while, and here we are. We start getting into deep. If we get anywhere deep into July, it's gonna be like, come on, like you said, what are we doing?
If you get into July, now you can't play until August, and now you only got 2 months. So now you're looking at a 50-game season. That is Rob Manfred's in his back pocket. The 50-game, 48, 50, 52-game season, whatever it is, somewhere around 50 games. We get to 4th of July, and they're not at spring training and working out. Now you can't play till August. It's over. 50-game season, and now you got to worry about records. Like, you hear a lot of times here in New York, you probably heard it on the radio up here, Derwin. Can you give a Cy Young when you went freaking 7-2 with a 1.8 ERA and 9 starts?
It doesn't mean anything. I mean, the stats don't mean anything. Yeah. They blew a great opportunity to start July 4th. That's out the window. They bungled this whole thing.
They can still do 4th of July weekend if they get a deal done by, say, tomorrow or Friday.
You don't want to end up.
I was about to say when?
By tomorrow or Friday. Yeah.
Potentially basketball and baseball running neck and neck.
Yeah, with the NFL starting up as well.
Yeah,
the NFL will actually be started before Major League Baseball and the NBA and the NHL because camps open up in mid-July.
Right, so it's like,
jeez.
And we ain't gonna know
season games start in August.
We're gonna be watching 4 TVs at one time. Like
we went from trying to figure out from withdrawals to now it's gonna be like, what do I watch?
We got the DVR. All right, I'm gonna DVR the game. Start watching this at halftime. It's gonna be. I'm here for it, but it's gonna be crazy. I get it though. The players feel like, and I know from the fans' perspective, the fans are like, "Come on, what are you doing?" The players are like, "Look, if we're going into this hazard situation, just give us our the players have been fighting very strongly for
give us hazard pay."
Yeah, I mean, and if you're not, then just give us our pay, and I feel that because for me, that's a risk that we run as athletes. Everybody else is at home watching us from home, and we're going into this scenario, and obviously they're going to test us and make it as safe as possible. But people are like, that doesn't really sound appealing for you to take less money when I'm going to a situation that might not be the best. So that's just from the players. If you're asking, what are the players doing? That's what they're doing.
Your thoughts, Derwin? D-Dubs, the latest proposals. Major League Baseball 76, the Players Union 89 games. Where do you see this thing ending? And do you think they'll hit that July 10th target date? That's the next date we've been hearing. I think that's about right. I thought mid to late July. They go anything past that, it's like baseball, 50 games, enjoy.
I mean, they just got to meet in the middle, and it's just taking them so long to just do that. And I don't know. I couldn't call it.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows at this point. The commissioners did say they will play baseball.
They're going to play baseball. We just got an internal email at SNY. We're confident they're playing baseball. We just don't know how long it is.
Right. And they're going to have to deal with now everybody watching everything else, all the other sports. So.
All right, good stuff. Let's move to your neck of the woods. We're going to go racing with the
Come
NASCAR
on, Darwin.
Hey, Bubba Wallace, man. How about Bubba Wallace? Huge salute to Bubba Wallace. No, straight up. Big salute to Bubba Wallace,
Yeah,
man.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Good
all,
job.
Bubba's a friend of the show.
yes. I one regret, man. I was supposed to do a panel with him at
Mhm.
NABJ down in Miami. We had the big, I think, thunderstorm and big showers in New
Oh
York.
yeah, I
Gonna
remember.
fly
It
out.
was
And
terrible.
in August, the first week of August, I was supposed to do a panel with him on NASCAR, esports, and diversity and inclusion, and I wasn't able to go, and that's one of my regrets. I didn't get to meet the young man.
Mhm.
Hell, he might even be on the show right now if I was able to take my butt down there. But King James, other athletes have responded and said this is awesome. I know Richard Sherman was one of those
Sherman.
athletes as
Mm-hmm.
well. Black Lives Matter, the paint job on his ride at Martinsville, the racing right now on the short track in Martinsville. Just your thoughts on what he's gone through. Fainted after a race last weekend, wore the I Can't Breathe t shirt, the only full time African American driver, as a black mom. Of course, his dad raced a NASCAR racer as well. Hell of a story there. We're all rooting for him. And he said the Confederate flag needs to go. And I guess the news came down, what, about an hour or two ago
It's
that
Right.
gone.
it's
And
gone.
it's
So
gone.
this is the Bubba Wallace effect. You guys go ahead, jump in on here.
Yeah, I mean, star power. We talked about it, Patrick, with Patrick Mahomes. Star power. And this guy, I mean, I know his name and I don't watch a lot of NASCAR. So that just to put it in perspective, but again, I always talk about the wins. And this is NASCAR we're talking about that had to actually remove the Confederate flag. Like that tells you something. So for somebody
Right.
to I
In
mean,
that sport, that's big.
that's
Mhm.
big. So y'all know what I'm going to say. That's a win. I saw a
Right.
tweet, Kelsey Trainer. Never thought I'd see this in NASCAR. People are saying this like genuinely shocked. So again, I have this saying that I'm saying if you have to say wow to something that someone is doing, it's a win.
Right. OG, Derwin, you guys get in here. When NASCAR, when they made this move, look, I thought they were going to do it. I didn't think they'd do it this damn fast. But
Right.
when they get
Wow.
rid of some of their heritage, and we've all been I don't know if you guys have, I've been to plenty of NASCAR events. Whew, it's a cool event, but there are a lot of damn Confederate flags in the infield on these
Mhm.
daggone RVs
Wow.
and Winnebagos. This is a sea change here.
Yeah.
That is the culture, man. Down south in those tracks with those people, that demographics. I think NASCAR is making a bet. We need to be on the right side of history here, man. There's a sea change coming, guys.
Oh
And
yeah.
this is part of that movement and an impetus towards us getting to where we need to be.
That's
Duran,
not.
you're the NASCAR guy. You take it.
That's NASCAR saying, being smart, saying we need to get on board this movement because this thing is going somewhere. And you talk about they're going to be in Talladega, Alabama in 2 weeks, places
If
down there in the
not, you'll
south.
be a truly regional sport, and you're probably done.
Right. And they're probably figuring that we're still going to keep our fan base. People that love racing.
Sure.
They're not going to leave because they
But
can't
don't you,
fly that flag
but
anymore.
you got to draw that. You got to make that bubble bigger.
Yeah, you got to,
NFL,
and,
NBA,
and
everybody's
right,
expanding.
right.
NASCAR, you can be regional and be down there in the
But
southeast and make y'all a little money, and you won't grow. We talk about it all the time. It's like being
right,
in an echo chamber. You're in a bubble. I don't
but
want to be in a bubble.
you know that NASCAR has been trying to be more diverse, and they're hoping that if Bubba Wallace can win some races,
That'd be
then
Yeah,
that's
nice.
going to
that'd be
start.
big.
They're looking for their Tiger Woods. They've
And
been
he's
looking
got a
for
good
that.
team. Richard
Yeah,
Petty Motorsports is a damn good team.
they've been looking for their Tiger Woods for a long time. So I'm happy for Bubba Wallace. He's gotten into a good car, a good team, and hopefully, he
I
can
want to
get
see him
some
win.
victory, get some victories. That's
Yeah.
what
Get
he
to victory
needs.
lane,
Do,
man.
do, does
I
NASCAR
want to see
have
him take
gear?
a
I want to
second.
support this guy. I gotta like go get.
I
What do they
mean,
wear?
Yeah,
Like
I
this.
think
and I
McDonald's is one of his sponsors. What car does he drive? 43?
I'm
What
gonna go
is
buy a
43, yeah.
cheeseburger. I mean,
43?
like, how
Yeah.
am I gonna go show that? Like, you know how for athletes, I'm like, I gotta go get a
43. You got to get the
jersey.
43 car, man.
yeah, I
Yeah, I'm
know
looking
when
at
I
his
was
Car.
car right now.
when I was
Uh-oh.
coming up as a
What?
teenager, the NASCAR
Yeah, I mean they got the cars, the
Mm,
number. His number
yeah,
of his car
the
is 43.
jackets
That's
say
how you
43, yeah.
support him. Support him. His team.
Oh,
The number
okay.
43
I
is his
didn't know. I
car.
didn't know if there's something I could wear. I meant like, how do I show my support? I mean, I know what you guys are saying, but I
Get
didn't know if they had jerseys, T-shirts,
Oh,
like
yeah, got
official.
t-shirts. Yeah, Bubba Wallace
Because I
Jr.
know they
Yeah,
be wearing them jumpsuits, and I think that could be kind of fresh if I came out, stepped out in one of those. So
yeah,
I might
yeah.
have
Hey,
to.
you go ahead, sis. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Or get one of the jackets with the McDonald's
That's what I was
different
talking about.
patches on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that would be lit.
No,
Okay,
go ahead and
cool.
get you one of those fire retardant suits and walk around in hot Atlanta
Hot
right
No,
Atlanta.
now.
I want one of the fake replica things that just
All
look
right.
like his, and it's just yeah. But that's another thing because we got to start doing this. We have to support people that are putting themselves out there because there's going to be other people that pull away from support when that happens. So I want to make sure we got to fill the void. So I know that he's probably going to catch a lot of flack for that. So we got to come and fill in and make sure that he doesn't feel a hit.
Yeah, on the hood of the paint job, it had a black hand and a white hand,
Yep.
coming together. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
I don't care what anybody says. Bubba's been talking about it. He talked about an emotional text message that he got from his mom the other day after Mr. Floyd lost his life. Look, he's still a black man in America. He's got the great name, tough sport. But I want to give NASCAR credit. I know the great Dawn Harris down at NASCAR. She's over the diversity and inclusion down there. I've said this before. Derwin knows this as well. We talked about this. NASCAR does just as good a job as any one of the pro sports of diversity and inclusion. So they are trying like hell. It's a heavy lift, man.
Yeah.
You got some other guys that are out there trying to do it. You got the iRacing and all of that other stuff that they're trying to support and bring some much needed change to the sport and trying to make it inclusive. Your thoughts on this, OG? Just Black Lives Matter, Confederate flag no longer at NASCAR sanctioned events. This is huge.
Well, I did a OG 2 cents, I believe it was today or yesterday, but it's one thing to have a following, but it's the other to have an influence.
Yeah.
And like it's obvious, like when you see, because I have read about it, and like you talking about the significant turnaround of a change of something that's been there for years.
He called for this literally like a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and they said,
Yeah,
done.
so he's like, no one should have to feel uncomfortable coming to a NASCAR race.
He did.
And that's important. I mean, because like it's funny because I'll never forget the initial conversation we had about NASCAR with Derwin, and it's like to see a brother like in the racing like that, that's what inspires other people to get into the racing and things like that. Because way too often in the world, I think we've ignored a lot of different things. Like we don't get into certain things because like, oh, that like that's not what we do, or like we don't know anybody else to do it, or like everybody that we used to seeing do it, they don't look like us. So we tend not to be that interested in it. But seeing someone of his stature taking a stand and being a cultural icon, a modern day cultural icon for us, and wanting to represent the sport the right way and make it respectable for everybody. I mean, that like you can't speak no higher than about him than that. I mean, I think it's going to allow more and more people to get it behind him and watch the sport and support him and NASCAR. So
I'm going to take
I think
a look.
it's great.
I was
Yeah,
just about to
now.
say, I
Yeah.
literally am going to turn it on for that reason only. And then when we go to the Kentucky Derby next year, live esportsXTRA from the Derby,
Yes,
and my
yes, ma'am.
first experience
Mint
will
juleps.
be no
Yep.
Confederate flags. I think that's
Well,
amazing.
that's horse racing.
Horse racing.
That's horse racing. Yeah, that's okay. It's
That tells you how much I know about this stuff. I thought I got excited.
there's a difference between the motor cars and the ponies. There's a little different there. But let me read the statement here. But we got to go to the Derby.
I just, you know why I connected it to? Because I figured they had Confederate flags there too. I'm just being honest. So I got excited thinking that all of them are gone. If we're just being honest, I thought they probably had some too. So so I connected the two in my mind. But okay, I guess we can go to NASCAR too. What are the Indy 500?
Hey sis, it's all
Indy 500
horsepower.
and
It's all horsepower.
It's all horsepower. Yeah. Here's the NASCAR statement. The presence of the Confederate flag at NASCAR events runs contrary to our commitment to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment for all fans, our competitors, and our industry. Bringing people together around a love for racing and the community that it creates is what makes our fans and sports special. The display of the Confederate flag will be prohibited from all NASCAR events and properties. So that is the lead story right there. Prohibited from all NASCAR events and properties. So NASCAR making some news today with the banning of the Confederate flag. Yes, it was the period there. To your sport, WNBA two-time champion. What do you want me to say?
Well, like people say, like period, poo. So
well, I was actually going to comment on that. What are a lot of
that's what I was saying. Like when I said period, I meant like, and they said what they said. And you said yes, there was a period at the. You went Larry laptop on me, okay?
No. Let me back up and let me let you think. Let me let you know what I was thinking. I was gonna, how some women like blah 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 and the period. That's what
and
I was
that's
going
on
to say.
period, Pooh. Okay,
and the period. Like
okay.
PERIDOT and the period.
Okay.
So absolutely. NASCAR fans in the stands. No, I forgot about it because I was going to go to Natasha Cloud. She's next. NASCAR fans, Derwin, you take this one. We'll be in the race this weekend. I used to cover races at Homestead down there in Miami, and also Talladega, the big track in Alabama. How many fans will we get to see in both races?
In Miami, you're going to see about 1,000 fans in the stands, and at the big track, Talladega, 2 postal distancing.
Yeah, you can be 500 feet apart.
Yeah, I was thinking they were very cautious.
Yeah, very cautious.
Well, they're going to allow, I believe, 1,000. I think we're going to do this story tomorrow. The Memorial Golf Tournament, they're going to allow fans in the next couple of weeks. And I think that's in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's in Ohio. Excuse me. OG's neck of the woods. I think they're going to allow like 1,000 fans. Maybe 5,000, but like that's a golf tournament. You would think a NASCAR venue, especially Talladega. Right. I've seen well over 100,000 people get to Talladega, and you're only going to allow 5,000. And what are they talking about? Homestead, just 1,000.
That's the temperature check. I always keep
saying
this. These are temperature checks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work getting all those people in and out of there. So.
All right. So
well, that is true because they're going to do the temperature testing and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's true. Yeah.
So basically, don't cough and don't sneeze, and you're good. So your sport, WNBA, making
yes,
some
sir.
News. Tell us more about Natasha Cloud, who's got this contract with Converse, the first female to get a shoe contract with Converse. This is big stuff right here. And she's a cutie too, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, she is.
Most definitely.
Okay. Shouts to my dog. Yeah. So I want to say.
Can you tell her that I said that, by the way? She's
no,
a
I cannot because I'm sure her girlfriend wouldn't prefer that.
Oh, yes. Don't do that.
So,
don't
of course, I'm not. No, of course, I'm not.
I'll take that back. I'm reel it back in.
Okay, now back to what I was talking about. That's my dog. Can we talk about her being the first? It's hard to be a first in 2020. Like, for real, think about athletes in anything. Like, in anything you do in 2020, everybody's talking about it's hard to invent things. It's already been done. She is the first. I think that needs to be, and the reason that she's the first, Converse doesn't even really do this, right? Because they're not in that space with WNBA.
Aren't Converse owned by Nike now?
They are, but they're two separate. I remember we talked about this before. So this is all different umbrellas. Like, they're all under the same umbrella, but there's different, groups. The reason that they said they signed her, not only for her basketball skill, but they said that they signed her because of her work in the community, just as much as her work on the court. They were as proud as her work on the court as off. I mean, think about what we talked about. Companies getting behind players, companies pushing. That's an amazing thing for a company to say that we love what you're doing so much off the court as on the court that we're signing you. We don't even really do this. You're the first. Like, right. I mean, wow. And one more thing I want to say is, I know a lot of people remember the Malcolm X quote when he said it about in the 60s, but he said, "That's not a chip on my shoulder. That's your foot on my neck." And so she just had a quote for the Players Tribune, and it reminded me of it, but it's, and it's not, this is hers. Your silence is a knee on my neck. She was speaking out from the athletic perspective. Malcolm X had a different perspective because, there is really people trying to assassinate him. But for us, your silence is a knee on our neck because at this point, you can't separate the Black athlete from the Black woman or the Black athlete from the Black man. Like, we are the same entity. So now, if you are a sports program or anything, if you do not support the Black person, it's not fair. Like, now you gotta pick a side. Like Derwin said, you can't straddle anymore. So she basically run the alarm, like for sports. And this is before everybody made their Black Lives Matter post, So I love that because she basically put it out there like, yo, if you quiet, that's we get it. Message received.
Sure, so, and she's a champion. We're showing pictures of her now.
The reigning champ. So that's why Converse said not only your stuff on the court, because her activism is amazing, but she's also the reigning champ, and that's why I said that's my dog. So when I saw that on the list, I said, oh, let me turn
I got
up,
you.
okay?
I got you.
So shouts to Natasha Cloud, the first female to sign with Converse for a shoe deal. So that's, come on.
You know what? I want a pair of those Cloud weapons. We got to bring the weapons back. Tell Natasha to bring back the weapons.
Whatever Natasha brings back, it will be a Christmas present. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get. I'm getting Christmas. Well, I didn't say for y'all, but I was gonna say for my family, because you know how that's how you do it. I'm just trying to get people to think, if you want to support people.
We're not
But
family?
yeah, you know what? Y'all got size 15s and stuff, OG. I don't know. Like that costs more sometimes for that.
Size 11 or 12, man. We're
yeah.
I'm regular size guys.
Okay, well, okay. Like I said, that's what I'll do then. If you're gonna get presents, I'm just throwing this out here for Christmas, and you want to be like, how can I support people? How can I support the cause? Support Black businesses, support small businesses. I'm getting Natasha Cloud anything that they put out there. Okay.
I want to put this out there. Speaking of out there, I want a Renee Montgomery signature shoe. That's what I want.
God.
That's what I'm pushing. I want my dog, my sister, my baby girl. I want her.
We're gonna have to create it.
Okay. Nike, Adidas, Reebok. Are you listening?
Before she put up the sneakers, like
I know, you know, and that's why I loved what they did with Natasha, though. Real talk, because typically women aren't getting shoe deals in general. And secondly, the ones that do, you have to be the upper echelon, top of the top. And no disrespect to Natasha, she's one of the top point guards, but usually the shoe deals only go to like if you've been an MVP or if you're an Olympian. So I love that this is so outside of the box. Like it shows a different type of value that I think that companies should be valuing players as. Like there is that other aspect that we talked about. There is that, is he a great locker room player? Is he a great brand ambassador? I would love to see companies now start coming into leagues and giving that type of player a deal, because that's the type of player that companies actually do want. They don't know they want it, but it's the players that do the right thing, that speak out responsibly. So yeah, clearly I'm excited about it.
Good stuff. All right, we'll move on. Unless you guys got one.
Wait, you guys need to have a statement about it.
You said it all. Like there's,
I'm just listening.
Yeah.
My thing about it is just like it works perfectly when you have people who are naturally like that fit the role. Like I mean, and because you got a lot of pros who not activists and who's not out there like that. And for her to be involved like that, I think it works perfect. And to me, it's unfortunate that we have to talk about situations where we feel like it always has to be the MVP or always have to be the upper echelon professional athlete, when simply you have a lot of people who don't carry that stature, but they're making positive impacts in the community and in the world. So it should be recognized equally. I mean, because that's gonna provide lanes. Like it's gonna be a lot of young women, young females, males look up to her, and she's gonna carry that out accordingly. And I think those are the bigger type impacts that we need, other than just always cheering for the people who scoring the most points and doing everything else. I mean, it's about what are we doing outside the lines. I think the whole purpose of the movement that's going on in the world right now is like, what are you doing to make the world better, than it has been? And I think it starts with things like that. So
and all of our contributions are important. I think they're highlighting that as well. Derwin, any last thoughts before we move on?
I think it's beautiful that they're, rewarding her for all her great work off the court. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's definitely something that other people to aspire to. And she seems to be a very good role model. So it's beautiful that she got rewarded.
All right, we'll keep it on the basketball. We'll go on the virtual side. NBA 2K League
update
time with Ivan, OG, King, Kurt, Brooklyn. That's where Brooklyn at. That's the only place.
We here.
Okay. All right.
It's been a fun ride, and I hope that it continues to be that. Drafting Chalk this year at number 9. It was one thing that he told me personally, and he said, "Kurt, we're gonna win." Like, and that it still sticks to this time. He's a fantastic leader, a great teammate. And like I say, he catches a bad rap from the public, but like I told him, as long as you look at me and we see eye to eye, that's all that matters. And he's definitely filled the bill. He actually captured Player of the Week last week. He's doing a great job. He's averaging 33 points, 8 assists, shooting 65% from the field. 57% from the three. So I mean, he's doing everything that it takes for us to be where we're at. I think, like Larry mentioned earlier, our season has been extended for remote play until July 17th, and then I think it'll be further evaluated after that. And
we just showed the other picture of that. Yeah, absolutely.
And before I get to the recap, we have the tip-off tournament coming up next week. So that's going to be real interesting. And
I got the Nets winning that.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay.
I think we hitting the stride at the right time. It's going to be covered by obviously Twitch, YouTube, but ESPN is going to cover the tournament as well. So ESPN2. So it's great time.
That's still Espen.
Kenny got work, captured player of the month. Well deserving. The Raptors are still, undefeated at 7-0.
Yep.
Last night we defeated Hawks Talon. Had to take the A down, Renee. Sorry about that. But,
no, y'all, that was a beat down, man. Y'all stomped on their face with a hobnail boot, man. That wasn't nice.
And Chalk was player of the series today. He averaged 39.5 points, 5.5 assists. Knicks Gaming reached 500 at 4-4 last night. They defeated Magic Gaming. Original Malik had a great series, averaged 21 points, shot 67% from the three. Mavs GG moved to 6-2. They beat Pistons GT. Sherm, the point guard, he averaged 34 points, 6 assists. And Grizz Gaming shocked everybody, beating Wolves Gaming to be even at 4-4. Authentic African, their lockdown defender, he averaged 18 points and 3 steals in that series.
What happened to him? He went from 84 points, which is still the record, my season 1. Now he's like a defensive stopper. He went from literally, Renee, scoring 84 points in a game to now he's like this defensive guy.
Well, he don't want to shoot no more. What happened?
The thing about it in 2K and even in our build is that the game changes from year to year. So a lot of times
your skill set could change.
Yeah, they take their talents and move them to other positions. So he's excelling well in that. 18 points from a lockdown defender is extremely high. That's a lot.
But if I got a guy that can drop 84 on your head, I think I'm gonna keep giving him the ball. But
and they acquired Goofy 657 over the offseason. So I mean, dominant center who's been playing well. They got off to a rocky start, so they're definitely streaking right now. Tonight's game is Celtics crossover game and Hornets Venom. The Hornets went down the first game. The Celtics they have
trying to get their first win.
Yeah, they're trying to get their first win. So definitely, I kind of figured it was going to be an interesting series. I think the Celtics played us tough last week, and I felt like they were getting their stride back. And one thing people need to know, it's a week to week league. It's all about what you do in that week. Last week does not matter. So definitely, I'm anxious to see how that series plays out. Pacers Gaming are playing T-Wolves Gaming. They actually took game 1 and got off to a hot start in game 2. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that series as well. The 9 p.m. games, the Warriors Gaming is still undefeated. They play Jazz Gaming. They're at 3-1, so that's going to be a hot series to watch tonight. And then Blazer 5 looking to get back on the right track against Gen G tonight, but it's going to be tough. Shifty Kai, one of the top point guards in our league for Gen G, he's a rookie. Him and Mama, I'm sure, is going to be going at it tonight, so that's going to be interesting to watch. And Jazz Gaming has been putting it together. They have a rookie PG, but they have an experienced backcourt helpmate with Lottie and compete over the lockdown. And Rhea is one of the top centers in the league. So definitely going to see if the Warriors Gaming can stay undefeated or see if the Jazz can knock them off and give them their first loss.
Yeah, well, should be a good game. Yeah, the NBA 2K League, once again, virtual remote play through July 17th. Is that right? Through week 11? Okay, 5 more weeks of that. So
and ESPN2 has been picking up heavy, so you can catch it on ESPN2.
And you said you all want to get in there, though, right? That's not what that's not what you guys. When they say virtual, do they mean that you can't really get in there, or that
into the studio? Yeah, they're going to stay virtual with the gameplay. Well, is there any Because I mean, you look at the
because
season,
the postponements.
you get to 11 weeks, you get to 11, 12 weeks. That's 3/4 of the season. Not very many games left. Maybe what 3 or 4 weeks after that, and then you're in playoffs.
Yeah. Now the difference, Larry, with everything that's going on is like we haven't yet. Like by now, we would have played 2 of our mid-season tournaments. But now we're just starting to tip off next week, so we still have 2 tournaments left with the turn and the ticket.
Right.
So it's going to be extended amount of time to actually, if we ever can get back to live playing. I mean, this year it's going to be tough, but I definitely, I mean, I feel for the rookies who haven't got to experience that, because I just said the other day when we was in the practice, I said, man, I miss getting ready and getting on the shuttle and getting transported over to the
like
studio.
game days.
Yeah, it was a great vibe and great feeling, and for them not to get that, I kind of feel for him. I mean, even for my top rookie in Chalk, I mean, he's doing the thing remotely, but I still wanted to see him get, because I feel like as well as he's playing right now, he would thrive even more, because that's just he's a former college basketball player, had the opportunity to play Division I basketball, but he chose to go to NBA 2K League route, and
wow,
and be more happy to have him. And like I said, I stand behind.
We got to get him on the show, man. I think we should try to get him on the show, man. Maybe Sunday or something. We'll get him on the show.
Yeah, definitely. I think
that'll work.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. We get that dub. We get the dub on Friday. He'll be more than happy. But my guys they take losses tough. So
they do.
Good. That's
I
good.
love it. I love it. I mean, the vibe that we had in our first week when we lost to Mavs GG, you could like feel the hurt in the air. It normally takes to like the end, like mid-season or the end of the season, for you to get that type of atmosphere, and that was only our first game. So
that's
I said I felt like we was gonna be in the right place, because most of the time, like, you got to think these guys go from playing for as amateurs, not getting paid. And I always say it's 2 types of NBA 2K League players. It's the one before the check and the one after the check, because the one after the check can get real complacent, and losses hit a little different when that bank when you get something in that
direct deposit. Yes.
So that's something I always focus on. But they actually, I mean, they're passionate about how they play, how we play, and I felt like we would be off to a good start. So we back on the streak. We 1-0 this week and looking to go 2-0. And
I'm rooting for you guys Friday to go 2-0. We'll get Chalk on the show, so that'd be good to let Chalk talk to his coach, and we can talk to him.
I like
and
that.
chop
Chalk
it up.
talk.
Chalk talk. I like it. So we'll move on. Compete Forever Madden League update. We'll put up the standings real quick. I know some of the guys are doing well. You got some of those players like BA Beach is doing well. Joe Fogues is doing well. How about BKP? He was doing pretty well. Black Phoenix, I believe, is the division. Is that correct, Coach K?
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, some of those guys are doing fairly well this year. And I think the season ended Monday. Is that right, Coach K?
Yeah, regular season. Yeah,
regular season. So we're in the playoffs. Who are the playoff teams in the AFC and the NFC real quickly?
We're still setting that up. So we're just still calculating the seating and all the other stuff. So we'll have that posted within the next 48 hours.
Okay, so Sunday we'll know for sure who the playoff teams are. Okay, and we'll get some calls coming in here and things of that nature. Also, can't forget about July 3rd, the great John Lewis, the documentary coming out about the famous, civil rights icon and congressman. Good Trouble coming out July 3rd. We're going to be doing the stream July 5th. We're going to be hosting that streamathon and producing it and running it for our good friends, partnering with HBCU Heroes.
Yes, sir.
And of course, the producers of the movie, Don and the great staff with Good Trouble. So we're excited about that. Renee will be hosting it with me and some other people. We got a lot of great guests. Did I send you guys the flyer?
Can't
I'll send it to you.
Wait.
So we'll see. We're adding talent as we speak. So that should be a lot of fun. Of course, we're raising awareness for everyone to go out there and vote, exercise that fundamental right, and exercising that franchise there. So we want to make sure we get everyone to the polls. We saw the voting lines in your state, Renee, in Georgia. Ridiculous. Exactly. Go ahead,
and they was acting up, but look, that's what I'm saying. It's we love to act up down here in Atlanta. You guys can just laugh at us from afar, but I love that Kumo, just real quick. If y'all don't watch Kumo Primetime, they had some guy, I don't know who it was, talking about
Chris Como, yeah.
Yeah, he had a guest on. Yeah, Kumo Primetime. What do you mean, Kumo and Kumo, the brothers? But they had a guest on there, and he had him in the hospital. He said, "Why do y'all keep having problems with the machines?" He's like, "Oh, the machines are new." And he's like, "Every time y'all tell us the machines are new, but y'all still never suppress them." He gets to the bottom of it.
And it's okay in the suburbs all the time.
It's always okay, but in Fulton County with the most
people
votes, it's Democrat. Come on, it's so Atlanta's gonna be up to something. But everybody keep going out. It's popping. We're twerking all the way to the polls in November. Okay, Atlanta. Okay. Listen, what? I saw a video where they were twerking at the polls, and I said, "Genius,
man,
genius."
Well, now you can get more people to sort of go out and vote. I mean, that's the branding, that's the messaging, that's how you can reach them. Yeah, you get twerk to the polls. OnlyFans, why you go to the polls? Just go to the polls. I don't care what you do.
You're obsessed with OnlyFans.
Yeah, because I'm jealous. I want to make some money. Are you kidding me?
Larry Laptop, we have a whole show that is very entertaining. OnlyFans, call us, okay?
Hey, we love to make some money while we're sleeping. Absolutely. Give us a shout. So the good movie, John Lewis, Good Trouble, coming out July 3rd in select movie theaters and also on all of the streaming services and devices. And we will be doing the Streamathon, the celebrity. I think it's called technically the John Lewis, Good Trouble, HBCU Takeover, right? Is the stream
that sounds good.
Yeah. So it's the HBCU Takeover. Of course, we want all the 18 to 25-year-olds. We're going to be pushing those guys to go out there and vote. Should be a nice 4 hours, 6 to 10 p.m., July the 5th. Lock that in. We'll have some fun with that. And look forward to that. Less than 4 weeks now, 3.5 weeks until the 4th of July weekend. Real quickly, as we'll end, Compete Forever made our debut on Black News Channel this past weekend, June the 6th and the 7th. We're locked in for at least 5 more episodes. We got 2 more coming up this weekend. Well, 1 episode. The 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. It looks like they're locking us in, which I think is a great time because we come on right before the live primetime news at 7 o'clock every night on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday. So that's a great lead in. Gary Wardlaw and those guys are doing a great job. Maureen Brown and the entire staff at the Black News Channel down there in Tallahassee doing great work. I actually watch I watch the primetime news every night with my guy Fred Hickman and Anthony Amy, the sports director. Okay. Of course, we have the same agent down there. And James Hill, colleague of mine down in Orlando, is the weekend sports anchor down there. So, yeah, they're doing some good stuff down there at the Black News Channel. We really appreciate that partnership. This Saturday, 6 p.m., also 11 a.m. So this Saturday, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern, Black News Channel, our Compete Forever Madden Super Showdown. That was the Super Bowl show we did at 368 NYC. And also on Sunday, same thing, Compete Forever Madden NFL 20, Super Showdown, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern live, only on the Black News Channel. That was a really good event. I'm doing the broadcast with Brandon Bell, former Bengals linebacker, Penn State Nittany line captain there, and also Ashley Liotis works with us, Compete Forever sideline reporter with Black News Channel. She is working the sidelines on that show. So looking forward to it. Make sure you guys get out there and watch it and support it. I'm out. I got nothing else. You guys got anything else?
I sure do.
What you got there, partner? Talk to me, partner.
Because we ain't shout him out. Snook.
Oh,
hey, we
watching.
Hey, OG did not forget about you.
OG, okay, because I got a text that's probably going to come through any second. Shouts to Snook and Diddy. Hi, Snook and Diddy. They are in West Virginia. They are watching the show.
Snook and Diddy.
Snook was going off about last show. She said they asked her for a password to get in on this Twitch thing, and she doesn't understand why. So we had to figure it out, but they are back. She missed 1 episode. She's not happy about it, but thank you. Welcome back, Snookabuka.
Hey, the other thing is that my episode on the OG 2 Cents podcast with
featuring who?
Renee Montgomery.
Hey, we in
it dropped. It would drop Sunday, and we had a good time. And I'm just glad to be a part of the show. I done gained a little sister, some brothers.
Come on now.
And it's,
well, what was the biggest takeaway from the Renee Montgomery podcast?
Gosh, the conversation after.
The funny part was we finished recording, so I thought, and I looked up and we're talking like 30 minutes after, and it's still recording.
Whoa.
Yeah, y'all, you see, he was the feds on me for a second there. I said, "Don't be trying to leak nothing I'm talking about on here, OG." But no, really got in tune.
It's gonna be a beautiful episode, even on YouTube. I got some pictures of Snook and Diddy. Like,
snap!
Yeah,
the Snook and Diddy are gonna make the pod.
Most definitely.
Hey, they are international, baby.
My heart is full.
Snook and Diddy.
Hey, no, I tell you know the biggest take from it, Larry, real talk, is that I mean the synergy between all of us is like a blessing.
It has been
during this time.
I talked about that,
and you know, truly, like we text each other, we talk to each other on air, off the air. I mean, and
we support each other.
I value that. Like I value that, and I mean, and like I told her, like my mom and dad is deceased, and I got my brother back home. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm not used to this. Like I'm used to seeing and talk to him like every other day or whatever. So like this time has been vital for me, and a lot of people, I've always had this old stern attitude where people think like, well, man, he don't need nobody. He all right. He's strong. But like, man, I've really been like struggling from time to time. So like when this opportunity came along and it's doing something that I love to do, but most importantly, doing it with people that I truly love. So it's like, I'm just thankful for all of
it.
Man, we value you, man.
This is the teddy bear chunky that we all love. Come on. Come on.
Hey, Larry, take us home, Larry.
I got to let Derwin in here because he'll get mad at me if I don't let him in here. I don't know. Don't say anything about Cap. I don't know.
No, I'm done. I'm capped out.
Listen, I think that when football season starts, we need a Cap show just for the culture because that was dope. That was dope. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna be honest though. I always like when I first did the show with Derwin, like this is perfect because you never want to do things with people where you all think alike and like you
all the time. Yeah,
all the time. Like so, he always has some great insight and great.
Absolutely.
I was like. Sometimes that's why I be quiet. Like
I was the same. I was watching YouTube like, ooh, that was good. Yeah, that was
good. Hey, you know what they call it? That's called a contrarian. That's what that is.
Derwin Bayless.
But he had the facts though. I don't like people that just are conspiracy. Like he was like, he was hitting us with some facts. I'm like, I didn't know that, Derwin. Okay.
Yeah, Derwin.
He be coming.
Hey, he be prepared. He said about Derwin. He's prepared.
Skip.
Come on, Skip. No, good stuff. I love you guys, man. Thank you for the platform. Look, I've got two brothers three brothers. Coach K's always been there and a sister now. The chemistry is good. We lift each other up, and it's fellowship, man. That's what this time is. And we hit each other all the time. We got the group text going. Derwin is in the 21st century.
Listen. He said, can I just say that we had an accomplishment today that somebody in the chat learned how to text. I'm just going to tell you what our group chats is looking like. I was like, wait,
I can see
a lot, dude, in the last.
I can see the chats, the text, but I couldn't answer.
I've never heard of that, Derwin. I'm just saying. I've just never heard of that.
That's probably because of Coach K and that Android.
I thought it might be the Android because I said I had to call Kev to ask him what his number was because I can see everything you guys were saying.
You called him to ask him what his number was.
I said you might need an Android.
Because Larry's number, I have it in my phone. So when it comes up, it says Larry. But the other numbers, I didn't know the numbers.
Yeah.
But every time I would text, it kept coming back to me. It kept saying,
return
try
to
again.
sender.
Error. Because I sent the screenshot to Larry.
He did.
So I was seeing what you guys were saying, but I couldn't respond.
It has been.
And then, the last time, I accidentally hit where I was my location or something.
Yeah, it's like, dude, stop that.
And I had to, let me tell y'all, Derwin tried to get me to share my location,
It was an accident.
And I was like, I text the group chat. I brought it to everybody. I didn't even just text Derwin because this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring it to everybody. I'm like, Derwin, we're close, but
Don't be weird.
Don't be weird in the chat, bro.
So I asked Larry to delete me and try it again, and it must have worked.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. Yeah.
Oh gosh,
we are. When I see the notification, I was about to get something out of the refrigerator. I said, "What?" Like,
I know.
Imagine me where I'm going in about my business. Derwin would like to share his location with you. I was like,
no. First thing I thought was like, is he okay?
Right? Do you know?
Listen, a white van with no windows.
And then it asked me, "Do you want to share yours with him?" And I'm like, "What is going on?"
No, I don't.
It was an accident. It was an accident.
No harm, no foul.
Where was his? Okay, he sent the location. Where was the location?
I didn't accept.
I
immediately I went left. Like
I ignored it. I ignored
Decline.
it. I'm good. I don't care what you
you made a great point though. Like next time I'm gonna call him. Like at least I need to call like when like you all right? Like
well, my concern text was to the whole group. Like y'all can handle it. Like, is Derwin all right? Like y'all handle check out Derwin, make sure he good.
Oh man,
that's like y'all closer to him than I am. Ain't nothing I can do down here. Like
he sent it to the person in Atlanta. Like,
right. What you want me to do? I'm 1,000 miles away. I'm playing. Oh, good stuff, man. So, another great show. We'll be back tomorrow. For Coach K back there, of course. Of course, pushing all the right buttons. Derwin Worrell, fellow sportscaster, man, knows his NASCAR. Spirited debate about Cap. I'm talking about spirited debate.
Loved it.
And then Ivan Curtis, the OG. How about Brooklyn? Where Brooklyn at? I'll tell you where
Brooklyn
at. We're in the NBA 2K League standings right now. I hope you guys win on Friday. We got to get Chalk on the show on Sunday. We're looking for you to close that deal. If you can't get your own player on the show, your spot might be
keep going.
In trouble.
Your spot might be.
I got that part.
I know. And then, of course, the baby girl. Don't call her Shanae, and don't call her Renee. It's just Renee.
Renee.
2 times. Put them up for 2 times.
Y'all get it?
Yes, 2 times. That's my girl, Renee Montgomery. I'm Larry Ridley, guys. Thanks for watching esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show, talking traditional sports and esports on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook.
You know what?
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Renee picked that up. 7 p.m. Eastern right here for more esportsXTRA. So long and good night from the tri-state area and down there in the A. Bye-bye.